Well, there goes the Daverhood. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to you. Oh, here comes the chicken. You actually landed on my shoulder, Mr. Bluebird on my shoulder. It's the truth. It's actual. Everything is satisfactual here in the Daverhood. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. You're whoever you are watching the show. That's my darling and adorable wifey there. Hey, wifey. And we are here
Show them your new toy.
live on this Saturday morning. I was going to say August, September 7th, 2024, with the 959th episode of The Dave's Gone By, Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the stream. And aren't you lucky to be here? Yes, because we're always bringing new and exciting items to the Daverhood. This is the latest one, our latest. Was it Marshalls or TJ Maxx or Home Goods or what was it?
And this one we found at Home Goods. Normally we get it at Marshalls, but
Well, this was a beautiful.
It's very high end.
Home. Look how beautiful. It looks like a casket with a horn on it, but it's beautiful.
It's the case, the trumpet case.
Is this like a trumpet case?
That's what you put a trumpet in, but that's where the batteries are in.
Oh.
It's a trumpet case. They gave you little stickers to put on it. Did you get the book?
The book's in here somewhere.
Here,
I want to gussy it up.
Well, if you think it looks right.
It's so beautiful the way it is, but it is a little funereal.
That's why they give you, so you could put like,
Is it like a New Orleans trumpet case? Where are you supposed to put these, on the back?
I guess on the back, yeah. It says here, you read the kit. The kit, and here's the book.
Oh, I got my glasses here. So it comes, of course, with the booklet, the sad trombone, the womp-womp trombone.
Read the back of the box. It says
okay. This kit includes everything you need to create a soundtrack for your most epic failures.
Wait.
I could get this as soon as you saw that. So there is a 3.5-inch mini replica of a trombone on a case that, when tilted, plays the classic fail sound. Actually, it's not the case. We're talking about English here. It's not the case that's tilted, it's the trombone. When you tilt, it's got a nice fuerte sound to it.
I love it, yeah.
Real womp-womp there.
I think it was really loud.
It also has full-color stickers to decorate your case.
Like the musicians, when they travel, they put stickers on their case, I think.
Or the kids on their computer, their laptops. Oh, so here's some of the stickers. A lot of music notes, which is cool.
Oh, it's cute. I didn't see that. Yeah.
And then the womp-womping sad trombone. And then the tragic sad clown trombone. That's pretty great.
Oh, gosh.
This is pretty neat. I gotta say, it's neat.
It's like from the 60s, yeah.
And what else?
Does it give a storybook?
Illustrated mini book on the origins of the sad trombone phenomenon. So here it is. By the way, I just saw, speaking of phenomenons and things that people, phenomenon, phenomenon, So this idea of the womp-womp trombone, the woman who came, she's like enormous, this woman who came up with that whole demure thing, she's trying to trademark the word.
Good for her.
It's like, I came up with the word demure.
It's but like a phrase she did, something working or something.
So anyway, here's womp-womp trombone. Do you frequently find yourself in situations that leave you speechless? Certainly, nothing ever leaves me speechless. Are you someone who feels like your life should have its own personal score?
Woo!
Yes.
Yeah,
my life is 0 to 100. Have you ever found yourself so embarrassed or so ashamed that only a vaudeville sound or vaudeville sound effect, could help sort some of your overwhelming feelings? I would like to introduce you to the sad trombone, your first step toward having a live orchestra accompanying you, I can't talk tonight, accompanying you through the otherwise mundane aspects you may feel are derailing you in life. So play this little trombone when you accidentally like your ex's new partner's picture from 3 years ago. I guess I mean on Facebook.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, push that.
So you hit the like, and you don't want to say it. You don't want to like your ex-partner's partner.
Or when an annoying coworker needs a sarcastic response that only
Do you have the report due yet? Did you chip in $100 to the office pool?
Or maybe you were so busy scrolling through your phone that you found yourself bumping into stationary objects. Be sad.
That's the thing.
Maybe you went on a date where you did something really embarrassing, but you lived to tell the tale to your friends with a sad trombone.
When we talked to your
sound
family,
effect.
you said like there was a medical issue you weren't supposed to say, and you said it. I should have had that.
No, actually, I would, knowing me, if I were a doctor,
Yeah.
I was like, so the cancer is inoperable.
Oh God.
Yeah, you have to carry the baby to term, but it will be born dead.
Oh God. I don't think you'd be allowed to do that. You can't say that.
You can't. Well, you can. You have to say what you have to say. But adding
Here,
the
let's
trombone
do-
effect.
I'll get a Mr. Rogers one, and I will. Where's the?
Well, Mr. Rogers is in your.
No, and I need the megaphone because his.
Oh, of course, yes.
Mr. Rogers is like some of the things we have are so low. I think they need new batteries and such. We have batteries somewhere. Okay.
Actually, do you know how many people have told me to sing solo? Solo, they can't hear me.
It says 1.5.
Never.
Okay, hold on. I gotta.
Here we go.
Put this to him. Okay.
Ready?
I like to think of all kinds of helpers in our world.
Do another.
There's no person in the whole world like you, and I like you just the way you are.
Do it on this.
Oh, you want to do the sound? This on the
Yeah.
microphone? Let's hear how this sounds amplified. Just the way they used to use it in Nirvana.
You have to hold the speaker, not the part you're hitting. Find the speaker.
Well, this thing, yeah.
Here,
Hello?
I'll show you. You're not holding it where the.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a little place right here. That's where the sound comes out.
All right, let's try this one more time. Here we
so
go.
put
Here we go.
that little part where
It's
the
hard to
sound comes
hold
out.
when I. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay. It's much louder.
And the nice thing is, if you're a rapper, or a hip hopper, you can mess with it. It's like. Hours of fun.
Yeah.
So here's a
And
little
if
more.
you break it, we can buy another one. They have 2 of them, I think.
Oh, that's. Oh, I'm sure it'll be gone this
I
week.
know, because that's like something that people. It just is so beautiful.
It's a must. The thing is, I
It's
wouldn't mind having
beautiful.
this on my desk as opposed to,
Yeah, some of the. Well, you have the desk like pickleball. You have all the desks.
Yeah, the skee ball thing. I really never played it, but the Mr. Rogers looks like a little Mr. Rogers toy. But this looks like it could be made of actual brass and be like a real, semi-expensive
Yeah.
jewel-like replica. What else? What do we have? You now have a personal sound effect
Ooh.
available whenever and wherever you may need it in the palm of your
Not
hands.
in the bathtub.
What do you think? The batteries in here.
I
You
don't think you should do it in water, yeah.
go.
Or at the beach.
You're not going to be electrocuted or something. I think it's still.
Just don't use it during your interview.
Well, it depends. You never know. It could come in handy. To this day, the exact origin of the classic womp-womp is still unknown, but we know it originated in vaudeville. Touring street performers served as the foundation
I
for
think someone should trademark that.
numerous artistic exploits we have now. Touring circuses, comedians, clowns, acrobats.
It's funny how we all know that sound is something like.
Is a wah, 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 wah. Yeah, what?
I thought I heard someone say David.
No, I think I just went wah, 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 wah.
David?
No.
David?
The trombone, with its characteristic slide valve
Yeah.
and booming sound, made the perfect instrument for original sound effects, characterizing the movements, emotions, and story devices for these vaudeville shows. Everyone in the audience could hear and understand. From these performances a few hundred years ago,
I
I don't think the trombone is that old. Well, maybe.
My grandfather played the what's the one?
Cornet, or did he
The
play the
one
trumpet?
that has the muffled thing. I think he played trumpet with the
The mute.
With the,
Yeah.
that thing. Yeah. So that had probably the same. I know they. I don't know what it was.
No, excuse me, the iconic womp-womp has been used in everything from current network sitcoms to personifying an adult's voice in old cartoons. Oh, like Mrs. Othmar, yeah. However, we still most commonly associate the sound with a comedic injury.
Yes, we do. Like.
The wide world of sports. Oh, there he goes.
We never found out what happened to that Olympian in the bike race.
Nah, it was
the
probably
guy
no
got
big deal.
smashed and taken off on a stretcher. I don't know. I think when they take you off on a stretcher, it is a big deal, honey.
Well, for that day, he's probably fine. They took the leg off. He's learning to walk on one. He'll be great.
I can look, but I didn't see anything, you know.
Let's see. I mean, they really don't have a lot of real information in this book.
I see you have word of the day. I'll send it to you when I go in the other room.
Oh, very nice. Yes.
Did you tell people who the guest was?
No, I haven't really. So let's do it. Let's tell people what is on this 959th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the Stream with me, Dave Lefkowitz. So here's the deal. Going to be a fun show. We're having a return guest, and this is a guest who hasn't been with us in well over a decade. He is an author, a writer named Timothy, goes by either, Tim English. And way back, Tim had written a book called Sounds Like Teen Spirit. Great idea for a book. It was all these pop songs that incorporated or stole, before the age of really of sampling or during sampling, the tunes from other places. Maybe even a little bit of them or a whole cloth one. Not so much that you would sue, but you would say, oh my God, this part of that song sounds just like that. So, of course, the most famous case that came to trial was George Harrison and She's So Fine, where they sued. But yeah, you can hear something that goes like, oh my God, they had to have been listening to that. They must have. And maybe they did or maybe they didn't. So there's all these songs that sound partially like other songs. So I wrote a book about that, and he was on this program many years ago talking about that and giving examples. He's written other books. He wrote a book.
I told you the one lady at the check-in at Hopkins, she said, my son is defendant 7 with Sonos, where the company that they're training. Explain.
No, please, I can't explain it. Yeah.
Companies are using. So how do you train AI? You have to feed it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're feeding it existing music to train it, to learn how to write music, whatever, access music, assess music. But the problem is a lot of these songs are copyrighted so there's all this like lawsuits of like, how do you train music AI to write when you don't want to give it music?
Now he is on the side of the AI or of the music?
I think he's in the company,
Right.
He's in the company.
So he believes they should be able to just use music to train a thing.
Or I don't know what they believe. I think they probably believe what they're doing is open access or something.
I mean, if you're a guitar player and you have a record that you get from, you want to learn a Frank Zappa guitar lick, so you get the album, even at a library, you borrow it from a friend, you don't pay for it, and then you learn from it, and then you start playing guitar. I mean, is it that different?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I think they're saying that AI becomes like, it's like AI is like that. Remember the horror movie where there's like a blob and everything the blob eats becomes part of the blob?
Yeah.
So I think AI, I think they're thinking like, then that music becomes part of AI, right? It becomes part
It absolutely does.
So maybe that's what they don't. I don't understand the whole. As somebody who people plagiarize and take stuff and post books and take from articles and stuff, it's very hard to capture all that activity, right? People do a lot of things they shouldn't.
They shouldn't, or don't know that, or they know they're doing it, but they don't think it. Yeah. We're in and we've also grown up in the past 20 years of expecting music to be free, which is not fair, which is not really right to any artist. But I'm like, if I want to hear something, I'm going to go on YouTube. I'm not going to buy a CD anymore. I'm not even going to pay for Spotify. I'll listen with commercials, which is the old way. That was radio anyway.
Like streaming,
Yeah, so I'll stream it. I'll try and fast forward through the Spotify commercials if I can, which
Do
you
you
can't.
think if satellite radio took out terrestrial radio?
It helped. I mean, they're disappearing AM from cars at this point. New cars literally
Oh,
can't get
really?
AM anymore.
So
I
then
think
how do
Tesla.
who listens to AM? I mean, how do
Oh,
you
I
listen?
would. If AM, if you want to know how Donald Trump and the Republicans rose on some level to power,
On
and the
AM?
MAGA people, it's the talk radio, the conservative talk radio on AM, that was a counterballast to all the
But why
liberal
aren't-
stuff on the
why
major
aren't the
TV
cars
networks.
playing it? Why aren't the cars having it?
I think it's nothing to do
Is
with
it hard
politics.
to get the signal?
Yeah, well, AM is like bouncing, pinging off whatevers, and I don't know, but the technology of it is
I
like we don't
remember
need
the
anymore.
only way that we used to listen to it is for like school closings or snowstorms, like 10
Sure.
winds. It's like, all these following schools in your area are.
Oh, no, remember- well, You didn't grow up on Long Island, but it was WHLI.
What is that?
That was the one that you would put on.
Oh, that's
I forget the number. It's still there, I think.
I don't know.
You put it on, and again, it was for a snow day.
Yeah, and you listen, you're like, please let me my.
And they go alphabetically.
Yes, yes.
Arbuthnot School. Aylesborough School.
Aardvark.
We'll be right back. Oh, we'll be right back with the bees.
No, I don't want to go to school.
Yeah.
For us, it was hard because we were private, and so they would list all the public schools, and then my school was
Yeah.
later in the list of the private schools. It was the Saints, so it began with the Saints name. So you waited for the S's, and you're like, oh.
Oh, because the S's would take forever.
And
Oh my
then,
God.
I mean,
Yeah.
many times, like, one of the mothers would say, just get them. Like, one mother drove us, every other mother walked us together as a group. They'd be like, just get the kids together, we'll go. And we get there, it'd be closed.
Oh, well,
And
that's
then we go all the
right.
way back home.
But I also love it. It was kind of like when schools were still deciding. So you listen,
Oh,
and your school would be skipped over, and then you try to listen like 10 minutes
Yeah,
later,
like,
and then it would be added.
Please, at my school, please.
Because this was in the days, obviously, before websites where you just
Yeah.
go on or get the phone calls, the robocalls early in the morning. I guess kids have them now. Or people can get texts. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like we will be closed, or
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
open late, and so forth. Back in the day, you either had to go to the school or listen or call. Maybe you
this-
couldn't even call the school
No, maybe they could change their announcement, like their answering.
if they knew the night before.
Oh,
They could
yeah.
change the answer.
Mhm.
Somebody back in the day, you couldn't just have someone from home
Mhm.
leave an answering message on the
For us,
school's
one
machine.
of the nuns would come from the convent. Probably it was right across this. Like,
Oh well, yeah, okay. Then they
somebody who
close
lived
enough to
live
go
on
in.
campus.
Yeah, but AM. All right, AM. I mean, I'm making fun of AM. I started on AM, and it was only 21 years ago when I was on WGBB, 21 and a half years ago. So we're not talking about the death of AM from 1987 or 1967 when FM made inroads. But people listen to either satellite or FM has better quality. It's got stereo. It's got deeper sound.
But what's going to happen to AM stations when nobody can access them?
Well, first of all, they'll still be accessible, not in a car. They won't be automatically accessible in a car.
But like, if you
Websites?
can't find a CD player, how can live streaming? Because I was going to say, if you can't find a CD player, how could for the for CDs, audio CDs?
Yeah.
How are you going to find a radio? But what you're saying is like people just stream it. So
Oh,
they're
sure.
streaming the radio station. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, that would be the way. Because in fact, I was going to say we do this as part of the our friends of the Daverhood, but I'll say it now. Tony Orlando. I didn't even notice Tony Orlando, who's been on the old oak tree. Yeah.
Oh, he wants to do the song.
Oh,
Have him do it.
yeah. Oh,
Okay,
he's
have him
appropriate.
do it. Okay, honey. Okay.
That's how I know he's a cowpoke,
Yeah,
but
he's a cowboy.
so Tony Orlando, I didn't realize he's on WABC AM 770 radio AM, which I thought was all news, all talk, but Saturday night they make room for oldies. So they have Cousin Brucey.
Him and Lady Gaga.
Cousin Brucey's still on the radio, man.
I love it.
And Tony Orlando, either before or after Cousin Brucey, playing. I'm sure Orlando plays hits from the 60s, 70s, 80s. Brucey probably goes from the 50s through the 60s, let's say.
They cover their decades.
Yeah, and I'm sure people granted nursing home people are listening, or I might tune in.
Listen.
I would listen to just to hear Brucey again.
That's interesting. I didn't realize AM was so.
It's in trouble. It's been in trouble for 40 years, but it's could be fading and have its issues. I'm sure there'll be an app. I'm sure there's a way in your car. If you have a computer in your car, you can go, find AM and find stations.
My photos, David. I got too much storage.
Oh dear, yeah. So how do we get on this though? The radio, streaming, and Tony Orlando. Tony Orlando just dawned on me. That's the kind of comedy we do. So, that's why, because we were talking about Tim English and his book about songs that sound like other songs.
Oh, yeah.
He's also written a book about John Lennon's last year, his year in New York, and the music that he was being influenced by that then shows up on Double Fantasy and on, the posthumous album Yoko put together after that. So he was listening to reggae, he was listening to all these different other cultural things that you could hear in his music. Tim English wrote a book about that. He also wrote a book called Popology, which we'll ask him about. And his most recent book is all about the Kennedy family. John, Robert, JFK Jr., and their lives in New York. Because they were very connected to New York and Manhattan. Jackie O, of course. She was like an editor at large, I think, at some major magazine for a while. Yeah, man. And I think she lived with Ari or without Ari or post-Ari in Manhattan. JFK Jr. was, of course, an Upper West Side staple.
Yeah.
So he's putting that together, or has written a book about what the Kennedys were up to in Manhattan and the Broadway shows they went to, right? And the people they met and the things they did and stuff like that. So some stories to tell from Tim English's book it's called The Kennedys Something. It's not The Kennedys Something. The Kennedys New York. Makes sense. So Rabbi Sol Solomon, the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Sol, will be talking to our returning friend of the Daverhood, Timothy English, a bit later on in this very program, live on this Saturday, September 7th of 2024. Also, we'll have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. We have a brand new Limerick. Because I didn't sleep that well. I got to sleep late and I woke up early and I just cannot form words today.
Okay.
This is pissing me off. But
Why?
it's
everybody knows what you're saying.
except my whole point when I teach is clarity.
Yeah, but you're not teaching. You're just doing your fun show.
I'm just doing this dumb little show here. But
no, it's not dumb. You're doing your fun show.
It is a pretty disgusting poem I have for you today. No, more sad than disgusting, but it's in Atwood, Colorado. That will be our Colorado Limerick of the Damned today. We'll tell you a little bit about Atwood, Colorado, and then I have a poem, a limerick about it, our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. We'll also have time for Dave's Big Dick, Shanary, where Merriam-Webster's picks a word of the day, and I don't know what it is. I haven't even seen it yet. Then I will look at it, and later on in the broadcast, I will have to talk extemporaneously for a couple of minutes about anything that word brings into my brain. What else do we do? Greeley Times, which is based on phone calls that come into. I meant to tell you.
I'm
deleting photographs. I spent some money last night.
Wow.
I spent some money through gritted teeth, but also some gratitude. I paid for a 2-year online digital subscription to the Greeley Tribune. I did. I had to. Because I can't load up the...
That's how they get you, honey.
They do.
That's how they get you. That's how they get you. Well, how much was it?
I was hooked. It was like $12 for 2 years.
Oh, God, that's too much.
So $6 a year. I figured,
That's
you know what?
a
It's
lot.
given me so much content.
That's a lot.
And so, they should be paying me for advertising the damn thing.
You for advertising, yes.
But I figured, you know what? Give them throw these people $12, and it's open access for to the whole newspaper without my having to reload the page and
other
copy
people
and
could share that as well.
so sigh. So yeah, we're gonna have to cut back on the steaks and the prime rib.
Okay, so no black plate special. I'm sorry, no black plate special anymore. I'm gonna get the picture. Facebook for Mission Barbecue. I guess we can't do it anymore then, huh?
Well, not
no,
for
okay,
3-4
Let's
months.
think about it. So if Greeley, how much does it cost for 2 months?
No, 2 years.
2 years.
$12.
So I think you can't have any more black plate special.
But one black plate special is $14.
There you go. So you got.
Oh no!
Yeah, look at David. No, David.
What?
Look behind you. There's the tag. Now show people they don't know what you're seeing.
There he
And
is.
I'll get another photo.
There it is, my friends.
It's the
Black plate special has. We'll talk about Mission Barbecue because we're always talking about Mission Barbecue, but also brand new, and we haven't had one of these for a few weeks. Thank you, Ben. Brand new. We haven't had one of these for a couple of weeks. A Wretched Pun of Destiny. I wrote a brand new one yesterday.
Get the trombone ready.
Yes. A pun so terrible, we can only make it right here on this show. But here's what I ate last night, or 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my, wait. That's my dick hanging the other side of the table.
You're not getting any more because you wasted money on the trip, so.
Because I was so mad at Mission Barbecue for like most of the summer, from all the way like mid-June until Labor Day. They're special. Their big black plate special.
The comments say lots of good eats.
Yeah.
There for the autumn. Someone said, "Oh my goodness, this combination looks decadent." And someone said, "Carrot cake time. Best triple play on the menu."
Ooh.
I'm glad they finally brought back carrot cake.
No,
Let's see.
carrot. Fuck the carrot cake.
Oh.
I'm glad they brought back carrot. It's carrot cake.
Someone said the ribeye looks great. Looks delicious. Oh wow, a fine treat. May need to get that tomorrow. Looks delicious. Ooh, all delicious.
So all through the summer, I deprived myself. I did not go to Mission.
Someone said, "Does the carrot cake have raisins in it?" What the?
Probably does not. Probably not. Probably not.
Somebody's calling for cheesy potatoes.
I'm always disappointed when Kugel has raisins in it. I'm like, no.
Oh, someone said, "Look, I know it's not popular, available, but the shrimp, black plate shrimp was delicious. They hope they keep it."
But they don't keep it.
Somebody's saying,
yeah.
"I gained 20 pounds just looking at it." Oh no.
So I deprived myself the whole summer of Mission Barbecue, just out of protest, just out of saying that your special in a meat place should not be 8 little shrimp on a fucking plate, right? I tried it once; they were yummy, but as my mother would say, it filled one tooth. You know, nothing, a crevice, a cavity in a tooth, and 8 little shrimp. It's a barbecue place.
Please don't mention teeth.
Oh, yeah. So, but I knew come Labor Day, they would change over.
Yeah.
Now they have options to change over. Sometimes they do meatloaf. I'm like, all right, it's meat. It's meatloaf. I don't need to go to Mission Barbecue for meatloaf, no matter how good it is. I don't care. It's meatloaf.
Why are you doing Shatner?
I don't know.
Why did you become William Shatner?
Because
He likes meatloaf, apparently? Is that something?
Oh, good. No, and then sometimes they do a. Well, I don't know. Did they ever do a burger? I think they did a burger. They did a smoked burger.
A burger. They've done meatloaf. They've done a Hawaiian ribeye. They did a prime rib.
Now you're talking.
I think the prime rib was your favorite, no?
Prime rib is just glorious.
Is that your favorite? What's your favorite?
Probably, because I have steak fairly common. I can make a steak at home. A prime rib I don't make at home. So a prime rib is also really special because it's something I get only outside.
Yeah.
And it's still the same. It's rib and prime rib. I'm a puddle of love.
Yeah, you see
But I
them
still
doing
love a good
like-
ribeye. I love a good ribeye steak.
But also it's smoked. Like you at home, we don't have the infamous like the judge in Colorado we bought the house from. There is like, oh, get the eggs, smoke everything. So even if you make the same kind of meat, you're not going to smoke it. They have a smoke.
They have a smoke. That's the thing.
Like
Yes,
Big
of
Worm.
course.
It was like Big Worm.
Remember they had smoked brisket too. That was pretty good.
Oh, you like
Yeah.
that a lot.
Oh, smoked pastrami.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Remember what we used to do? So we used to go to Wegmans, get you their homemade rye bread, and then you got mustard, and you would make it a pastrami sandwich. And you would get a pastrami.
And I had it once or twice. It was really
you should
good.
Tell them that they should make a pastrami.
Well, this is the thing that Mission Barbecue did.
Maybe they have it.
Because they're not Jews.
Yeah.
They don't know. So they had smoked pastrami as their black plate
like
special.
Sliced.
Yeah, so they give you like 5 thick slices of pastrami. It was
right.
fabulous.
Yeah.
But I'm a Jew from New York, an old school Jew who went to kosher delis, to Katz's Deli in New York, which is kosher style. I mean, you don't fucking serve like slices of meat on a plate like that. It's like you make a sandwich. You spend an extra 2 pennies for 2 pieces of rye bread. Mustard you can get there, and then maybe a little more dressing, or you add. Well, I'm not gonna add cheese. I'm not gonna add
mustard. You
coleslaw.
did mustard.
Yeah, just mustard.
You could have added sauerkraut.
A
Some
pickle.
people put
Yeah, put a little pickle on
yeah,
there.
good sauerkraut. If
Yeah.
you get any
Kraut would work, but
Yeah.
I think a coleslaw would be better.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, that's the wrong thing. It's
Yeah.
different. Yeah, you're
Kraut
right.
on a hot dog,
you're
coleslaw
wrong.
on a.
I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe,
So.
Yeah, I'm wrong. I confused them.
But it's weird. So here's pastrami,
Yeah, but
and you're used to a hot pastrami sandwich.
They're known for their bread. They're known for like meat.
Doesn't matter.
I could look and see.
Is Katz's known for their bread?
Do you think they have a pastrami sandwich? Let me see. Does Mission Barbecue have a pastrami sandwich?
According to Facebook, authentic deli style pastrami, carved to order, meaty and moist, peppery with smoked
Oh
paprika
no,
and
well
brown
you
sugar.
can, yeah.
Yeah. No, the pastrami was a black plate
It was a
special. They had it.
correct.
But there's no reason they could not have served it as a sandwich, which is what it's meant to be.
Yeah.
A pastrami on rye with really not even with a pickle on it, pickle on the side. Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. Pickle and coleslaw on the side. They could do that. And instead of having a side of carrot cake or corn mash, give a side of coleslaw. Boom. Then you're a real barbecue place.
Yeah, but I think also just in the same vein that we watch all these barbecuing shows, I think there's like coleslaw competitions and, so
Sure.
potato salad, like, someone was saying, where was I? I was at some event and they served potato salad and people were complaining like a German style has different things than like, has an egg, and people were getting in this debate like, which is a better potato salad? I'm like,
No, it's not 6 of one, half a dozen.
No, they're very different. And
Yeah.
I'm like, as long as I don't prepare it, it's good. Like,
I do not prefer the German style. First of all, because there's like dead Jews in it. But I know, but the one with the egg, no, and the slices are too thick. No, you need the old Jewish
Well, it's like
potatoes.
my mom.
Yeah.
When she would make French fries when I was younger, she'd always make the home style ones that you cut the potato thick. And I'm
No.
used to them, so I like that. But I never had a thin French fry. And then we go out, I was like, what are these thin French fries? Because all I knew were these big slabs of potato.
No, basically marrying me, you had to get used to long, thin things.
You're not that tall.
Thank you. So I will say that the Mission Barbecue smoked pastrami was delish. And when I bought the bread,
yeah, but the thing that we have now is we have 2 Mission Barbecues. You are doubly blessed, honey. So we tried the one near school,
right.
But now we can try the one further away, and you can compare and see. You say the one near school, they give larger portions.
Larger portions and really yummy.
Yeah, so let's see.
But the people aren't as nice.
So let's go see. Let's compare with the other one.
Yeah, well, if we go, I might order today. I probably will.
Today I'd like to go to the other place, to the dry cleaner, because I thought we'd do that tomorrow. I got to get my pants hemmed.
Oh, you want to drop off your, because I'm
Yeah.
going to go there on Tuesday or
Yeah, but
Tuesday anyway.
yeah, but
And it won't be ready until probably next weekend if you're putting it in. So, all right, we can do it. So then we'll leave at the other place in. We don't want to mention names in case we have any stalkers.
No, I don't think we need to eat there. We can eat.
Oh, you want me to get where's?
I don't know.
I don't. We'll figure it out. It's 9:30 in the morning. Yeah.
Wow. What?
Yes, we've killed a half hour.
Oh my God.
Talking about meat. I could talk about meat for years. And speaking of meat, we have a big thing to talk about, of course. But well, let's get off Mission Barbecue. Mission Barbecue has their.
What's the meat?
I'll tell you in a moment. We'll get to it. That's the most important thing that happened this week. How could you forget? It's only been 5 days. History.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah.
Yes. So we'll get to that in a moment. But Mission Barbecue does have now their espresso rubbed, smoked. I'm drooling already.
I see that.
Smoked. I'm literally drooling. Smoked ribeye.
Here. Here's the cup.
And the other thing is, anywhere else you're going to get a ribeye steak cooked in any restaurant is going to be like $20, $25. Mission, you'll get a nice sized piece of beef, delicious.
Tell the medium.
14 and a half plus
It
tax.
looks great. Yeah.
And
they
it's
give
a good
you
deal.
sauces and all that.
Oh yeah, you
and
get free
cornbread.
sauce.
Don't you get cornbread?
They do. They give you a piece of cornbread too. It's a good deal. It's a nice. Wait, what happened to the? Oh, I ate the cornbread last time. Usually I take the cornbread home, but last time I was like, because you had butter for some reason.
Yes, I had
So-
butter and a bagel. Yeah.
So I was like, put the butter on the thing. I was like, oh, I will. And then I ate the cornbread. Usually, oh, Greg, our neighbors are doing their lawns.
Let me see.
Isn't that lovely?
Who is it next door? I'll see. Who is it? Yeah. Oh no, it's next door.
Yeah, they're doing all sorts of gardening work next
And
door.
I think they had a clogged drain, so
Oh.
they're not home, so they're probably cleaning, but they had a clogged drain.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Maybe they put Pampers in the drain.
That, maybe.
Maybe they flushed a Pamper.
Oh, that would be, yeah. So, okay. One meat thing that we have discussed, has been a very good meat
I'll
week.
find an image for you. Yeah.
Because,
You want to use this if you need to get louder here.
ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what you were doing on Labor Day. I was laboring. I had great papers. But on TV, the great American showdown, American versus Japanese showdown took place. Here he is. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. And he proved it. He didn't really even have to prove it, but he proved it on Monday afternoon.
Returned to the table after missing out on this year's 4th of July hot dog eating contest. Chestnut competed in Netflix's first ever Labor Day food face-off against his longtime rival Kobayashi. The meaty match proving to be one for the record books, with Jaws beating his own record, taking down 83 hot dogs and the buns.
Oh, it was 83. I thought it was 82. They counted the 83rd.
And the spittle.
And this is just an extraordinary thing, ladies and gentlemen. So, you know that, and we've been talking about this endlessly for a couple of years on this program. Here it is. How gorgeous. How gorgeous is that? But Joey Chestnut fell out with the folks at Major League Eating who do...
Well, Kobayashi, too, in the backstory, we know that,
What?
we know that they, they're showing all the pictures. We know that, for a lot of them, they had, here, you can show them eating.
Okay. Yeah. You were saying, here he is.
For a lot of them, they were saying, Kobayashi was saying that by him leaving, he made the contracts more open, but they were still restrictive. All the professional eating people were saying it's restrictive. You can scroll down
Oh,
and
and
Kobayashi eating too.
here's Kobe.
Yeah.
There he is. Crushing, he's holding his meat and crushing it between his fingers. And haven't we all, ladies and gentlemen? So that's the deal. Joey fell out with Major League Eating because he was paid a lot of money.
Talk about your arthritis. It's,
All right. He was paid a lot of money.
Kobayashi eat 17.7 pounds of cow brains.
Well, I've never eaten more than 4 or 5 pounds of cow brains at a time, honestly. I don't even know why I was moved to do so.
A frequently asked question is a hot dog a sandwich?
What is the answer? I would say yes.
They're asking Joey here.
Is meat
They're asking Joey.
in bread? What does Joey say? Here. Not everybody. I don't know if there's a volume there. It's got subtitles and stuff. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Sandwich is it? Joey is answering.
Not everything needs to fall under the sandwich umbrella. If you start calling a hot dog a sandwich, you gotta call a taco a sandwich.
Oh.
ちょっとその質問する人たちはホットドッグに対するリスペクトを持たなきゃいけない。
So apparently there's some controversy there too.
So Joey fell out with Major League Eating over
You
the
wanna
fact.
see the trailer?
Yeah.
Okay.
To be the greatest, it takes hunger. You understand.
Oh. Yes. Yes.
On September 2nd, watch the greatest competitive eaters go head-to-head for the first time in 15 years. In a rematch where winner takes all.
Wiener takes all. Get it?
Unfinished beef. Live only on Netflix.
So of course we watched this live because Joey took a contract with Impossible Meats, which is a vegan or vegetarian outfit making burgers and things like that, but out of plant-based materials, which I'm sure are yummy and full, 40,000 milligrams of sodium in there. Not actually healthy,
I'm hungry.
but at least meatless. So,
Here's some information about the good, the bad.
Then we watched this too, which was the good, the
Right.
bad, and the hungry.
oh well, yeah. Let me talk about that. So, Major League Eating had a problem with it. Like they own the people who compete in these competitions.
Well, they feel they probably made them. I mean, but the difference is, like Kobayashi, we learned was big in Japan.
Yeah.
He's saying that that's where they pulled a lot of their competitive eating from, and he was really well known in Japan.
Yeah, Kobayashi was already famous. He wasn't famous here, but he was famous
Yes.
elsewhere, specifically in Japan, of course.
Yes.
So, and then Kobayashi fell out with Major League Eating because they were telling him, you can't go here, you can't do this, you can't
Yes.
appear like this. And he's like, you're a contest once a year. Who the fuck are you to tell me where and what I can do, whether I'm eating or not? Go away. And stupidly, I mean, he was interested to watch Joey Chestnut, his great competitor.
But he got sick.
Well, all right, yeah. So Kobayashi at one year got what the huckster guy who calls and formed Major League Eating or promotes it anyway, called jawarthritis, where Kobayashi hurt his jaw so badly that he had to retrain his jaw to eat properly that year, and he used that as an excuse why he didn't beat Joey and whatever. But beyond that, there was contractual stuff with Kobayashi saying no, and he walked away 10 years ago,
It's amazing.
which is tragic because we would have had, as Joey is the greatest of all time, but imagine how he would have been pushed just a little bit more.
He said that Kobayashi was the one who he learned from him, and Kobayashi was the one who, what do you call it? Like spurred him on. What's the term? Is that the term?
Inspired him.
But like it was good to have that competition. It was healthy for him and
Yes.
helped him want to do better.
Right, because if you're the best, and you're the best by far, you even subconsciously you might coast a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You want to prove you're great. You want to go for a record or something, but at a certain point, I know I'm going to win. Just how much am I going to win by?
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to being like, there's this person who could legitimately beat me every time. I know I can win, but I gotta win. So who knows if he might have made another record or two. If some years when Joey wasn't completely on his game, Kobayashi would have nicked him and put a couple of notches in Joey's record. We were deprived that because ML and you sort of blame Kobayashi a little bit and felt, what the hell is he doing? There was that year when he came just to watch
Well, he wasn't allowed to go. He wasn't allowed to compete.
Well, I wasn't allowed to go on stage, but he watched the competition from the crowd, and then went up to Major League Eating, onto the
But he
stage.
didn't break the contest. He didn't touch
No,
anyone.
but he went to a place that was like, and the police
arrested
arrested him
Yeah.
because he was like those morons who the vegan morons from 2 years ago who broke onto the stage, and Joey got one of them in a bear hug while he was eating,
That's disgusting.
which is another reason why Joey really is the goat.
He probably did some hot dog spittle on them. I mean, it's disgusting. Like, things come out of the mouth. It's awful.
Well, you know what? If you have protesters who are interrupting a competition,
But where's the security if they're getting all
Yes.
this money and they're in a league of professional athletes? I think they have security. Like at the Olympics, there's security.
you know what I would do? If I would tell these protesters, I'll say, I'll make it with you. We can either put you in jail for a month, or I'm gonna hold your nose. I'm gonna force you to open your mouth, and you're gonna have to eat a hot dog. You're gonna have to eat like an all beef pork hot dog, swallow it and digest it,
Yeah, but
and then
that's-
we'll let you go.
That's not fair. It's like making someone who can't eat pork eat pork.
Yeah, well, too bad. Don't get up on and do this.
Even it's Nathan's hot dog. It's not like,
It's all snouts.
Oh, God. And that's their call letters. Nathan's hot dogs. Or hot dogs. We're all.
Snouts. It's hooves encasing. This is what it is.
I don't know where it comes from. Let me ask my phone.
Oh,
when-
there's everything but the oink.
No,
But no, probably Nathan's is better.
No, but Nathan's? Okay, let's see. Are they beef? I think Nathan's are beef.
I don't know.
I'm gonna-
Maybe
okay.
not.
What are the ingredients of Nathan's hot dogs? Okay. Oh, wow. It says 100% beef.
100% beef.
They have water, salt, sorbitol, sodium lactate, natural flavorings,
Mhm.
sodium phosphate, hydrolyzed corn protein, paprika,
Oh,
sodium
Jesus.
diacetate, sodium ethorbitate, sodium nitrate.
Why do you need those many different kinds of
There's
salt?
preservatives, but the nitrate is the one that triggers migraine.
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
That's bad.
I mean, I am.
They're 100% beef, but then they're filled with everything.
Yeah. Yeah, now, obviously not 100 because they make room for all this other shit. But yeah.
100, the same recipe cooked up by Nathan 100 years ago. I don't think he's getting all those chemicals.
Yeah, I don't think there was the sodium sorbitol in 1887. Paprika, okay, sure.
I mean,
And pork bits,
they're
yeah.
beef, but they
Oh,
have
I'm
a
sorry,
lot
beef
of,
bit,
I
yeah.
think that's, here's the nutrition label. I think it's for,
I mean, just maybe the dogs you get at Nathan's don't need all those preservatives because they're served like the same, presumably, or maybe
Oh,
they're
look at
frozen,
this.
unfrozen.
they said 72 Nathan's Franks have almost 10,000 calories.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
Wow.
Joey ate 83 frankfurters and
And
buns.
60 hot dogs, they're saying 20,000, so I don't know, it's all over the place.
Are they counting just the dog, or is that in the bun?
One Frank has 120 calories, 140 calories.
Yeah. A frankfurt alone, no bun,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
bun.
And 480 milligrams of sodium.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
imagine, like you said, that times the number that they're eating is a lot.
It's an extraordinary amount of food. It's an amazing amount of food. But this is what happened on Monday afternoon.
I wonder if anyone dies from eating like that.
Oh, I'm
like
sure.
they die and eat them immediately.
Or if not that moment. Yeah, remember we saw on July 4th the lemonade guy? We showed it last time on the show, the lemonade guy who barfed lemonade.
Images of lemonade guy who barfed or vomited during Nathan's hot dog contest. What was his name? Papa Fat or something?
Something like that, yeah. Big Fatty.
Oh, yes.
Was it Big Fatty?
I don't know. It was like, oh, God.
But, so I felt, we watched this documentary that they had on Netflix, produced by ESPN. This is Lemonade Man. Wow. But they had this documentary that we watched after the event, which is good. Because in the event, I was really, really able to be in Joey's corner and root for him to be the greatest of all time.
And to win.
And he set a world record. 83 hot dogs in
Oh
10
my
minutes
God.
is a slam dunk world record like crazy. And Kobayashi, good competitor, but not, I mean, he was like 10 or 12 hot dogs
This
behind.
is the guy who won this year.
What was his an Italian name? What was his name? Patrick Deep Dish Bertoletti.
Deep dish.
Yeah, well, he's probably better known for pizza than for hot dogs, wearing the mustard belt. We actually saw in the documentary. See, at this point, early in the documentary, you really like the announcer guy, the famous Nathan's guy in the, what do they call it? Not a bowler hat. What was that hat? The straw hat.
Yeah, he's like the, what do you call it? Like what's the
The MC.
The caller,
yeah.
The shot
The
caller.
ringmaster, if you will.
Ringmaster, yeah.
And he's saying, now, there's a legend that the famous hot dog eating mustard belt was actually created by me and a friend of mine in our apartment in the garage.
Yeah.
That's just a rule. And it's kind of cute because, you know, he's telling the truth in a sly, huckstery way. But later on, you do get this kind of assholism of him. This sort of thing.
For me, what I didn't like is you get this idea he's just like every other person making money off of other people.
Oh, yeah.
That I didn't like. You know, like honestly, yeah, he developed this sports and whatever. But if you don't have two crazy or a bunch of crazy people who are going to eat themselves to get sick, you're not going to have anything. You're going to have a league with no eaters, right?
Well, but the thing is, they have the league without the two best eaters now, which makes the competition a little more exciting because anybody can win. It's a much closer. You got this Bertoletti guy. People figure Matt Stoney, right?
Yeah.
But the two champions. So suddenly, and they couldn't come to an agreement with Joey. They couldn't come to an agreement with Kobayashi. It's like, you know, what are you asking these people? Does the Masters say you can't play in the Anapali Classic?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Olympics used to have rules about amateurs, and maybe rightfully so.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's ridiculous. Can you work at Starbucks?
All the athletes have endorsements.
Sure.
So, like, I'm sure that some athletes. I mean, maybe they don't do two shoe brands, but they do a shoe brand and a clothing brand that could be competitive.
Right, they don't do two shoe brands. I get that.
You know, people are eating the Impossible hot dogs or whatever, Impossible meat, are not eating Nathan.
They're not going to confuse it.
It's not like he's doing another hot dog company, right? Like Oscar Mayer and...
Yeah, and even then, well, Emily probably has some kind of whatever with Nathan's. Because, they're at Nathan's. It's not... Nathan's is just saying, hey, use us. MLE is allied with them. I mean, if Hebrew National had a brain in its head, they would buy out Nathan's and say, hey, do the kosher hot dog eating with us.
Why would they do that?
Well, I don't know how the deal. God. Well, Katz's should do a pastrami.
Yeah, pastrami eating.
Because that's the thing we also don't see, that Kobayashi and Joey and these other people have gone head-to-head in other eating competitions over the years, other foods, other places. They haven't done the hot dog thing, but they eat all year round, which is kind of...
You want me to put the white noise so you don't hear this?
No, it's fine. It's fine. That should be noise on top of noise.
Stuff here, so.
Oh, we're going to have the leaf blowers?
Yeah, that's the leaf blower. They're going to do a little...
Well, because they got wood chips all over the lawn next to us.
He's blowing it on our side.
Yeah. I mean, much as I appreciate a good blow job.
I know. But what they do is they blow it from one place to another, so he's blowing it on...
I never understood leaf blow. If you're blowing it into a bag, I get it. If you're blowing leaves together into a place to collect, but if you're just blowing, hey, there's leaves here, let me blow them into the street elsewhere.
Yeah, he's blowing our tree.
I beg your pardon? He must have a very large mouth. Anyway, so that was Joey versus Kobayashi. Joey wins going away. 83 hot dogs, world record. Yeah. Netflix has it now. Whether this will be an annual, because Kobayashi will likely retire. I don't know if he'll come back for
a rematch.
Yeah, I think
he's done. Did it just get darker?
Yeah, it feels like it.
Yeah.
Well, the sun probably went behind the sun just went behind the cloud.
She said he just wanted to do one more time because he wanted to compete against Joey, but then, I think he's done. I think he's had the arthritis. He's had a hard time with it.
And he won't, unfortunately, be the greatest of all time because Joey's...
Well, he was for some time,
Jack Nicklaus was the greatest golfer until Tiger Woods came along. And then Tiger,
What I thought was nice in The Good, the Bad, and the Hungry, they showed Kobayashi, like, in New York, I think California or New York, with the group of friends, and he's got, like Go Kobayashi shirts, and he's just...
Well, because he felt... And this was promoted by the promoter. It was America versus Japan. It was America versus the world after 9/11. So it's like, Joey's the great white hope. He's the American hero. Kobayashi's one of the contenders, and he's He's a foreigner.
Yeah,
So
okay.
he felt hatred, not real, but he didn't understand the American culture of hating the rival. It isn't like, we respect both of you, have a good game. No, it's sort of like, America, 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 Pearl Harbor. You know.
Well, he said when he went out and they booed, he didn't understand
Yeah.
why. He was like, why are they booing?
He didn't get it. He thought, why am I personally hated? I'm here to eat.
Yeah, and he developed the
And now he understands what an asshole you have to be an American. So that's to be an American sports fan, you got to be kind of a dick, which is yeah. You know? But anyway, congratulations to Joey. Big shout out to Kobayashi, because I felt much more sympathy for Kobi watching that documentary.
yeah.
And I felt a little like, no, I didn't feel Joey was a jerk, but I did feel a little bit sometimes that
He
Joey
was like
was
upstart.
yeah,
Mhm,
yeah, and kind of not giving certainly Kobayashi respect, but there was a certain level sometimes of like, well, yeah, Jawthritis. He probably did have serious, that was nicknamed Jawthritis to have something funny.
And I thought like what I didn't like is like this is the guy you admired who like helped you get to be who you are,
Yeah.
and then you kind of I'm not a smack talker. People who smack talk I think are insecure, so he kind of smack talked him.
Yeah.
He's like, that like I didn't like that because Kobayashi never said like, oh, Joey's bad or
Right, you know,
anything.
yeah.
Like he wasn't.
In fact, there's a wonderful scene of Kobayashi when he beat like the previous best
And he
eater
cried.
ever.
He was crying.
He's crying because there's a certain level like,
He said he was his idol.
yeah, and to see an idol knocked down, even if you're the one knocking the idol down,
correct.
there's something kind of sad about that, you know?
Mhm.
It's kind of like a movie actor who's there with a really old movie actor who was once a matinee idol. And you work with them, and it's an honor to work with them.
The woman you saw in
Yeah.
the American Songbook, she was losing her lyrics, and
Oh.
the guy was feeding her lyrics. Remember you?
Barbara
told me?
Cook,
Because
yeah.
she was very well respected in the field.
Yeah. I mean, she was loved, but yeah, and there was also a time when she was young and beautiful and so forth. And Barbara Cook was, had eaten a lot of Barbara cooking for many years. So there was that.
She was just struggling, and he helped her.
Yeah, which was because she was Barbara Cook. And you don't want to see the giants falling low, but at the same time, there's always going to be new ingenues. There's always going to be a new, young, beautiful actress with a gorgeous voice who's going to be like the next. And then she'll have 30 years on top. Anyway, speaking of someone who is on top, we are on top of our game here on Dave's Gone By because we have a guest in the Daverhood, a return guest to these shores. His name is Tim English. He is a writer. He's got a couple of different books out, most of them about pop culture and or music. So, who knows more about pop culture than Rabbi Sol? Actually, he knows about pop culture because he has all sorts of issues with his colon and his prostate. But it's Rabbi Sol Solomon, who is the founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. He will be doing the interview with our return author, Tim English, talking about, well, all his books, but most specifically, The Kennedys, New York. We'll talk about that in a bit. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado or a don't, here is the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Sol Solomon. Shalom, my friends. Shalom and l'chaim too. This is your old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And what a delight and what a joy it is for me to welcome, and not a newcomer, but an old comer back to the Daverhood on Dave's Gone By. We have someone who is an author, a writer of books, most of them about popular culture and music. He sometimes comes from a sideways disposition. I don't know why. There you go. That's a little bigger right there. I think I need cataract surgery for a minute. Now, this is Tim English. Tim was on our show several years ago talking about his book called Sounds Like Teen Spirit, Stolen Melodies, which is all about all these songs that sound like other songs. But he's written other books about people like John Lennon, and then there's one called Popology about famous people during the 60s and how music influenced them and they influenced music. But we're also going to talk about his most recent book called The Kennedys, New York, and how the whole Kennedy family was very tied into New York life. They were going to Broadway, they were seeing all these different places, there was even a rabbi involved at some point. So ladies and gentlemen, won't you please welcome back to the Daverhood, Tim English. Shalom, Tim.
Hey, great to be back with you, Rabbi Sol.
It's good to be back with you too. So you're looking good. How you feeling? You look great.
Well, thank you. Everything's fine. Yeah, tanned and rested.
No, last time we saw you, we didn't see you because we were on the radio. So it's a nice thing to see you. Where are you? Where do you live? Where are you?
I'm in New Jersey, about an hour out of New York City, not too far from Asbury Park.
Oh, well, I mean, New Jersey, you have my condolences, but it's are you a New Jersey person all your life?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
What do you love about New Jersey?
Honestly, it's a nice place to live. I think it's you live in a nice place, but you're in the cultural hub of New York City, which is the greatest city in the world, as I subtitle my book. I believe that, and so it has a lot of the benefits that you would get from living around a great city like New York, but it doesn't have some of the minuses associated with city life.
So let me ask you, in investigating, in researching a book about the Kennedy family and their environs, and what does that involve? I mean, back in the day when you go to the library and stuff, but are you interviewing people? Are you going through old newspaper clips? Where are you finding what to write about to have a whole book to talk about the Kennedys and New York?
It's a lot of research. And, I heard somebody say the other day that right now, all of us in the palm of our hand have more information available than the presidents of the United States would have had 10 or 15 years ago. Every question you want to know is sort of in the palm of your hand. And in terms of old books are easily available online. You can find obscure books that, were sitting around in in somebody's attic that they put up for sale and maybe people haven't talked about before or referenced before. The archives of the New York Times and Daily News, I spent a lot of times in there. They've got every single newspaper available at your fingertips going back to whenever 1900. So I found a lot of information there. And, in writing about somebody like whether it's John Lennon or the Kennedys, so much has been written about them before. It's a challenge to try to find new information that people haven't heard before. And that's what I tried to do in this book for people that are interested in the Kennedys, is bring them some stories they haven't heard before, and maybe even some insights into what the whole thing was about.
Does it start with Joseph? I mean, where do you pick the family up? And because we think of them as Kennebunkport or Massachusetts or Maine or places like that.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. First of all, I tried to focus on the family members that I think are most interesting to people, that being JFK, Jackie, John Jr., and his wife, Carolyn, which all would seem to be really fascinating to people. But one story I'm not sure if people know is the family moved to New York in 1927. Joe moved them to New York from Boston. Why did he do that? His daughter Jean later said that he said, Boston is no place to raise Irish Catholic children. And I was sort of startled by that because we associate the family so much with Boston and Massachusetts and the Cape. But he wanted no part of that in raising his children. And why? Well, there was sort of an old waspy Brahmin attitude that sort of looked down on Irish Catholics at that time in Boston. He did not like that, and he was involved with Wall Street. He was involved with Hollywood at the time. I mean, that's the whole. There've been books written about his time in Hollywood. He was actually one of the few sort of people that got into that movie making and was successful at it. But so they moved to Riverdale section of the Bronx in 1927, which is sort of a upscale part of that of the Bronx. They lived
That's
there.
where the Archies lived, and Jughead. They lived there too. It was always a happening place.
Might have been an imaginary Riverhead, but yes, they did. They got the name from there. And then a couple years later, they moved to Bronxville in Westchester County, and they lived there for another 12 years. So really, JFK and most of his family really came of age in New York. And when Bobby ran for Senate in 1964, of course, he had lived in Virginia, and then he lived in Massachusetts, and they all accused him of being a carpetbagger. He said, "Wait a minute, I lived a third of my life right here in New York." When JFK ran in 1960, he campaigned in the Bronx. Said, "I'm the only candidate that went to school in the Bronx in this race." Of course, they went to private schools, but So anyway, but it goes back to Joe, and he was really the man who made it all happen in terms of the family. And but he believed that New York and Wall Street was really more of a meritocracy, that you could get ahead based on your smarts and your skills. And he liked that, and he obviously was an extremely successful businessman. So, but anyway, that's how they ended up in New York. And the whole family, as I try to show in the book, they're really associated with New York for their whole lives. By the 1960s, the surviving members, 3 of them were living in New York as residents. Of course, Jackie, John Jr., Caroline, basically lifelong New Yorkers. JFK's friend Ben Bradley said he was the most urban and urbane man that he ever met. I found a quote from Senator Jacob Javits of New York in the archives. He said that the 1960 election was the triumph of the big city guy, meaning JFK, versus the small town guy. And that was the first time that had ever happened in the country. So,
Yeah, well, yeah, if you figure, that's right. Think about Truman over Dewey or whoever. And well, I got to think about that. And it's Shabbos morning. I can't really think about anything. But I'm gonna give it. So, how much time did it take you, though, once you decided, I think there's enough to have a book about this, from that inkling to gathering and researching and writing? How long did it take you?
The second part of that, I would say about a year and a half. But if you decide to write a book, and my only piece of advice to listeners out there thinking about doing it would be, make sure it's something that's really of interest to you, a subject that really turns you on, not that you're coming to for the first time. I mean, I grew up in an Irish Catholic family. The Kennedys were a focus of interest for me my whole life. I've been reading about them my whole life, enjoying books about them, trying to find. So many of these books, honestly, they just sort of repeat the same old stories we've heard a million times. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to find the stories that I knew already, and then find a bunch of other ones that would be new to readers. So
what's an example of a story that readers probably haven't heard of, about the John or Bobby, first of all?
I've got a few that I think will be totally new to people. I found a story. Was the Friday before Dallas, November 15th, 1963. JFK was in New York, and I found an account of his attendance at the musical How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, which was starring Robert Morse, later of Mad Men fame. He had actually seen the show in 1961. He owned the soundtrack album. One of his paramours, a woman named Mimi Alford, was her married name, but he said he loved the song "I Believe in You." But in this account, the lady who wrote it got there right at the end of the show. She was an actress herself, and he stood to applaud at the end, and then the whole theater stood to applaud him. And they said it was like a wave of love for him. And she said he was just palpable. You could feel how much he was loved in that audience. And it was just kind of nice to hear, knowing, what the future held.
A week later, yeah.
He was
Not
getting.
everybody loved him.
Yeah, we know that.
The CIA. But
it was nice that's a story that I don't believe is out there anywhere. And of course, I document in the book his other times he went to the theater. He went a couple of times as president-elect, and he just got overwhelmed. They had to stop, they had to sort of sneak him in because it just became untenable. People would just be crowding around him, and it wasn't really safe security-wise. So that's one of the stories. They got a story of Jackie one time. She actually tried there was an X-rated movie called I Am Curious Yellow that was rather tame for its time, but it did have nudity in it. This came out in, I believe, 1968. It ended up kind of breaking the barrier against nudity in mainstream films. Part of my research, I had to sort of check.
Yeah, how much research did you do on this question? Like, what was nudity like in movies in the 1960s versus what is it like right now? Okay, yeah, I'm sure you did some research. Right?
Jackie, there's this movie from Sweden, I Am Curious Yellow, which was causing a lot of controversy at the time. So Jackie, along with Ari Onassis, they had been married the year before. There's a theater on West 57th. It's now called the Directors Guild Theater, which is quite a nice place. But Jackie sort of put on a kerchief and the big glasses and tried to sneak into this thing, thinking she would go unnoticed. Of course, she was noticed. She got in a little altercation where a photographer outside from the Daily News claimed that he had pushed her over, and of course, it made all the papers the next day, which was the last thing she wanted. That this woman who had been certainly prior to the marriage to Onassis was sort of a sainted figure, and here she is sneaking into an X-rated movie. So that's one story I thought was funny. That's not generally known either.
And she didn't get to see actually the movie by the time she had the altercation.
She actually left. She left in the middle. Left poor Ari Onassis to watch it by himself.
I'm sure he did. Oh my God! So what are some stories about the kid, the one who died in the plane? What are some stories of JFK Jr., Mr. Handsome there, and his life in New York?
Well, I've got on the cover of the book, if you can see, that's him on his first day as district attorney, and he's down waiting for the subway downtown. And I thought that was a great picture to sort of, just exemplify their life in the city. Some of the stuff I cover was very sort of mundane, like where Jackie had her hair done and colored, where, the restaurants they went to. They went to all the finest French restaurants, like it was called Le Pavillon, Le Pavillon. But John, I think, really tried to fit in and try to live as normal a life as he could, given these extraordinary circumstances that he was born into. He was famous before he was even born. He carried the famous name of the martyred president, and he did it as well as he possibly could. By all accounts, he treated people very well, no matter what their station was in life. But he was in a play.
I think Irish at all in the early 1980s, I think it was.
He had done some acting in college at Brown. He'd appeared in several plays, and got fairly good response to what he did. This was kind of a one-off. This was not like he was going to do a career as an actor, but a friend of his was putting on a production of Brian Friel's play called Winners, which was originally came out in the 1960s. And the weird part of the story, though, is they play a couple, and they both die in the movie. They drown trying to reach an island, and then in the story, the things start washing up on shore, from where they were. They find little remnants of where they were, and then the search goes on for 3 days, where people are trying to find them. All those three elements are exactly what happened with that plane crash in July of 1999. So that I just thought that was really, really eerie, strange thing that happened, and that's a story I don't think is out there too much.
No, probably not. Wow, that is man, interesting stuff. By the way, from Tim English, all stories from his book, The Kennedys, New York, which is available wherever, well, wherever books are sold. Who's the publisher on this thing?
It's Amazon basically. You put it on yourself. Yeah.
Is it available digitally also? You can read
Yeah,
it.
and I spent a good deal of time recording the audiobook, which I don't believe it's up yet, but it will be very soon too. People like to get their books that way.
Now, some of your other works, older works, most of them are involved in music. Most of the things of pop music, rock and roll, as it were. So you have.
And it's got a lot of music in this book too, as you might expect. I had found a story about Bobby Kennedy was actually, and Jackie too, both went to see the Velvet Underground right when they were getting started in 1966, where they did these amazing sort of events where they had the light show and the music was just on full blast. And part of the time we would just play these feedback type of things that were just would break people's eardrums.
Of course, the exploding plastic inevitable was the
very,
thing.
yes. Yeah. And they played a place called the Dom, which was later became the Electric Circus downtown. And Jackie saw them at that time. Bobby saw them at the Village Gate, which is now Poisson Rouge. There was a party that George Plimpton put on there, and Bobby was in attendance at that. I worked music into this book also. JFK Jr. went to see the Stones at Giant Stadium in 1994. He brought along his bong.
He brought along his what?
His bong. He went with Jan Wenner of Rolling Stone, and Jan Wenner was like, he actually thought he was going to walk into the place with this big bong. That's a device for smoking marijuana.
Okay. See, back in the day, it used to be with hashish, but so this is a little different. I got it. I know. See,
you're sheltered. You have to lead a sheltered life. I know.
So this is. Could you tell us though what? Because they went to see the Stones for sure, and they probably did not have a good time, quote unquote, seeing the Velvet Underground because it wasn't a good time there. What music did they actually go see that they really wanted to, that they loved? I mean, what did they go to concerts that, for artists? Bands,
one weird story was that John Jr.'s favorite song, or one of them, was said to be "Sympathy for the Devil." And if you know the lyrics of that song, where they reference the assassination of his father and uncle, that's sort of I don't know what the word for it is, either ironic or strange choice, maybe.
I shouted out, "Who killed the Kennedys?" And after all, it was you and me. And John was like, "Yeah."
It's like I know but it's hard to, you and I hear a song like that. We don't know anybody who's in the song, but he did.
Well, I know Satan personally. We've had conversations, but nobody else in the actual. Wow.
He knew all these famous people. Like there's a writer named Jack Newfield who wrote a great book about Bobby. He was friends with Bobby and friends with the family, and he had told a story. One day he went to Judson Grill, which was not far from where John's George office was. I believe it's on 51st Street, and he just wrote about how he was treated. Like it was a very strange life. All the waitresses were like get nervous, and waiters around them. Everybody was staring at him. Everybody was looking at him. He couldn't really hold a conversation because everybody was leaning over trying to hear what he was saying. And, this was one little snapshot of an afternoon that he had. And he's just like, what was it like to, live this guy's life every day? It was like, it's surreal. And I have a couple other stories of other people that would be out with him and had that same experience. It was just sort of surreal. And then, people were trying to photograph him all the time. And he had a level of fame that was really, it's like Princess Di sort of level. And I get into that in the book too. They knew each other. And when Princess Di died, both John and Carolyn were very upset about it, probably because they sort of saw themselves as being hunted by the paparazzi, just like Diana was.
And it also makes you understand why, some big famous music star will buy out close for private party. They'll just take over the restaurant for a few hours. I was like, well, who are they? Well, it's just they just want to have a meal.
Yeah, I know. Well, you asked about music. They were very, the Camelot actually was a sort of a cheesy musical by Warner and Lowe that actually became, forever associated with the Kennedy presidency. Even though while he was alive, nobody ever made that connection at all. It was Jackie a week later in an interview with Theodore White that made the connection and said that JFK liked to listen to the Cast album every night. But if one of Kennedy's aides said he would have been beside himself to know that his administration was associated with this Broadway musical.
He would probably love that idea.
Well, Jackie was trying to. She said this history is written by bitter old men, words to that effect. She didn't want them to be telling the story because to her there was a certain magic to this whole time. And I think that's true in the sense that they were trying to uplift the country culturally. It was a big part of what they were trying to do with all the events that they had in the White House and so forth. And I think, Jackie really brought that to the table, I think, in terms of the marriage. I mean, she was a very sophisticated New Yorker. She lived basically almost her whole life within a few blocks on the Upper East Side, but she had a real appreciation for the arts, for music. She was very close to Leonard Bernstein, for instance. In the Leonard Bernstein's letters, there's a letter that Jackie wrote on the night of Bobby Kennedy's funeral, where he had performed during the funeral at St. Patrick's. He did a Mahler piece that Jackie was just really touched by. So it's probably 4 or 5 in the morning at the end of this absolutely brutal day, because Jackie, of course, and Bobby were very close. He was kind of her protector for her and her family. And, she had going through this again after 4.5 years. It must have been just so brutal for her. But at the end of that long day, where they took the train from New York down to Washington, he was buried at Arlington. She writes this long letter to Leonard Bernstein, just thanking him so much for the music and how beautiful it was and how it really captured everything. And a very emotional letter, but it shows how close they were.
All right. Wow. We've gotten so sad here and so touching. Let's pull ourselves out of that. We do want to leave a little time to talk about some of your other books, which are still available,
Sure.
So there's this book that you have called Popology, where you take 4 different really, really famous dudes from like the 1960s and try and associate them with the music of the time, like Thomas Merton, who was he was a writer and a monk. Was he influenced by like Strawberry Alarm Clock? I mean, what are you doing there?
Well, it's funny you mentioned Merton, which is always funny. I was at the National Book Show, whatever they call it, a few years ago, and I was showing my book around, and I had the 4 men on the cover, and of course everybody knew Jack, Bobby, Martin Luther King. Who's that other guy? And these are very educated people, supposedly, but they were not too many were familiar with Thomas Merton. So I'm trying not to contribute to the dumbing down of America, Rabbi Sol, and maybe give people a little what they need instead of what they want. You know what I mean? But Merton was anybody. I think he's just a fascinating figure. And his best friend Ron Sisto told me, you really captured him in that book, so that was the best compliment I could have. Yeah, he was not your typical monk, put it that way. He liked to have his wine. He liked to, he had been a convert. He'd actually went to Columbia and was partying and going to jazz clubs at that time in the early 40s. Anyway, he ended up at this monastery in Kentucky, but he was still kind of a cool guy. He was listening to all different types of music, like the 13-4 Elevators, who ended up on Lenny K's Nuggets compilation. He got a monk listening to this. He loved the Beatles, Bob Dylan. Joan Baez visited him at the monastery. So just a fascinating guy. He did have a girlfriend too. I was wondering why. I've asked people why nobody's done a movie about Merton, and they say, well, from the estate's point of view, they all want to focus on this relatively brief relationship he had with a woman toward the end of his life, which is a really cool story and very fascinating. But they all want to focus on that sort of too.
What do you mean excommunicated? I don't understand this. I mean, it's sort of like rabbis can marry, and we can even fool around a little if anybody wants to. But monks, I'm imagining you can't do anything with anybody but God.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
that's a bozo no, as they used to say. That was a no, but he somehow between keeping it on the down low for the most part and having a friendly superior, he wasn't kicked out. Plus, he was a very prominent man in that world at the time, well known for his writings about war and peace and justice and everything. But talk about a guy who had a lot of time to write. He was just living in a little cabin in isolation on this monastery. He had nothing. He didn't have any TV, radio, any of that. I had
No Netflix.
somebody interviewed me one time and said, "What was his favorite song?" The Sound of Silence.
Well, if you think about it, he had this girlfriend. He had the best of both worlds because he could date this woman, and anytime she started talking to her, he'd be like, "No, we're silent here." It's the ideal relationship, ladies and gentlemen. But
yeah.
so
well, I think they need to do a movie and get into all that. But anyway, I've always been interested in like how music touches people and affects people, and also in how the music of it. I used to love to listen to the old countdowns they used to do on CBS radio in New York, and they'd play all the music from X Day in 1964 or 1970 or what have you, and how all the music is very much of its time. It's all sort of very similar, and it's all sort of reflecting what's going on in the world of that time, and maybe also instigating what's going to happen in the world. So that was sort of what part of Popology was about, of trying to show how the music of the particularly, I don't think you could do it in many other areas, but the music of the 1960s was so relevant at that time to what was going on and reflecting what was going on in the streets, so to speak, at the time. And with the music of Dylan and the Byrds and the Beatles, and how it changed so much over the course of the decade. So, it was trying to show how that music actually touched the lives of these people that were so important at the time. So, and that's what I tried to do.
So was Martin Luther King, for example, really moved by Sam Cooke's Changes Gonna Come, or that came later? That was
before. That's 64. It was one of the last things that Sam Cooke recorded. But that song is very definitely inspired by the civil rights movement, and possibly specifically by Dylan's "Blowin' in the Wind." Sam Cooke was inspired to write that. But I was surprised. Martin Luther King was very much a musical person. He loved to, of course, he grew up in all the church music and the gospel and spirituals. His favorite song was "Precious Lord, Take My Hand." And in the last moments of his life, he was asking the band leader, a fellow named Ben Branch, to please play that song that night at the meeting they were going to have. That was one of the last things he ever said. But
he should have said, "Precious Lord, take that asshole's gun." That would have been a much better thing for that. So, "Precious Lord, there's a guy over there. He's pointing a gun at me. You might want to,
but he loved to sing in the choir. He sing those songs himself. He was very close to Mahalia Jackson. He was very close to Aretha Franklin. There's I'm not sure if it's still up, but there was a clip of him. It's from February 1968. I believe it's at Cobo Hall in Detroit. At her concert, he gave her a special award from his organization, the SCLC, for her work. She had done benefits for them in the previous year. And similar to what we were talking about with JFK shortly before he died, she described it, it was like this wave of love, a love wave that came from the crowd for him, of people that really just showing him, hey, we appreciate, obviously he gave his life for the cause eventually, if just a short time after, but it was nice to see him getting some love there in his own time. But, music very much a part of the civil rights movement, obviously,
Oh, and also the book that you talked about the last time you were on this program was Sounds Like Teen Spirit, where some songs sound exactly like, or parts of the songs sound like other songs. Have you thought about, it's been a few years now, of updating that book, because we've had 20 more years of music with sampling, and there must be so many other songs now Or
Well,
you
the
wrote
book
it, it's done. Yeah.
the book originally came out in '06, I believe, and then I did update it. There's a 2016 edition. So you gotta, you know, you want to seek that out because that's about triple the size of the original one. And you're right, though. I mean, all these, not every day, but you know, regularly we hear these lawsuits, and I think you're getting more lawsuits as the revenue from streaming does not nearly match what the revenue from selling copies of albums and CDs was. Record companies, publishers are looking to enhance other revenue streams, and one way you do that is if you think somebody ripped off a song that you own, is suing them and trying to recover some money out of that.
So what are some examples of songs that you've added to the updated edition of Sounds Like Teen Spirit?
Coldplay song "Vita La Vida," that's come from a Joe Satriani instrumental. Satriani freaked out when he heard it. Said, "What? You got to be kidding me!" It's the same thing. That case was settled out of court. "Vita La Vida" might be. It's one of the biggest Coldplay songs there is, so they sort of ran afoul with that. Got a lot about Robin Thicke in the book. He for his song "Blurred Lines," that was a big lawsuit. Sam Smith's song "Stay With Me," that's Tom Petty's "I Won't Back Down," pretty much note for note. But I also added, you know, have whole chapters on the Beatles, Stones, Dylan, Rod Stewart. I added a lot to those chapters also.
Oh, nice. I mean, what was there to add to that more of their stuff, or it was more intricate than what you reported on 17, 18 years
Just
ago?
adding more like some of when the first time around, I did like cases where they were actually maybe a record of it. That's the second time, like just like anything that sounded had a little like part of it that was influenced by something else, and include things like that.
So let me ask you, who is your all-time favorite musical artist?
I'd probably have to say the Beatles.
Fair enough. I mean, do you have a favorite Beatles song? It's impossible.
It's hard to choose a favorite. I sort of lean into the middle period a little. They re-released the Revolver album a couple years ago. We found out that Yellow Submarine was actually a John song. You know, they found a demo of John's verse of that.
It feels like such a Paul song, even though Ringo sings it. Is it? John wrote that one? Yeah. Okay.
But songs like I like Rain and Nowhere Man and you know, those are some of my favorites.
Name any Beatles song, just about. Almost any Beatles song. Oh yeah, that's one of my favorites. Oh, that one, that one, that one. It's the Beatles. It's the friggin' Beatles. So
maybe except Revolution 9, number 9. You know.
Yeah.
But even that's kind of cool in context because it's sort of the chaos of 1968 in a sound collage.
Yeah, they could have done that in 2.5 minutes. Would have made that point, you know, and then moved. They did. No, it's not. You don't. No. Number nine. Yeah, great. That's the best part.
That's actually influenced by Stockhausen. That there's a piece by Stockhausen that's sort of close to that. You know, I don't know if I want to send people back to comparing those. It's probably a better way to spend your day.
Let me tell you something. This morning, I was on the toilet. I was going number two. So I'm still even influenced by that song. Let me tell you. We've been talking with Tim English. Now you have a website where people can go read about your books, read about what you're doing. It's what is it? Don't you?
I've got for this book, I've got an Instagram handle, which is just the Kennedys New York. And what I'm doing is just like posting photos and a little music, like we're talking about music, how it all goes together, and a little musical accompaniment to the photos, and just you know, trying to show people what the book is about. So that's hashtag Kennedys New York on Instagram.
Hashtag Kennedys.
I
think it's NEWYORK.
The Kennedys New York, yeah.
The Kennedys New York, fully spelled out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the best place to get. Instagram for the Kennedys book by Tim English. Before we let you go, one last question, because there's something that you mentioned in the book about the Kennedys, that they were also kind of close and having this nice relationship with a rabbi.
Yeah, Rabbi Samuel Belkin of Yeshiva University. They were very close with him. He gave JFK spoke there in the 50s. All the Kennedy brothers received honorary degrees from Yeshiva, and the Rose Kennedy they put funds toward a center in the Bronx that was under Albert Einstein College. It's still there. Rose Kennedy, I don't remember the whole development, but it's to help people with disabilities. And that was in conjunction with Yeshiva and Albert Einstein College. So yeah, with Rabbi Belkin, there was a long history of that.
Why did I get the feeling, and I could be so wrong about it, I always had this inkling that Joseph Kennedy, at least, was anti-Semitic. Did I get that from nowhere? Was I wrong?
No. He was he was dealing in that doesn't come from nowhere. I think he did have some of that attitude. I think sometimes the sons he got criticized for the sins of the father, which is never fair. And I don't think it was passed on from the father to the sons, which was a good thing. But yeah, there was some reason to, I think, not without justification at times, he was accused of that.
But ultimately, the family did, thanks to people like Rabbi Belkin, was good for the Jews, which is nice to hear these days. Let me tell you, Anyway, it has been good for the Jews and everybody to be talking to Tim English, author of The Kennedys, New York. Check out the Instagram page, #TheKennedysNewYork. All I can wish you, all right. I asked you the last question already, but one last one. Are you working on anything else now? What are you working
on? Yes, short answer is no, but you never know. It takes a while to get these out of your system, I guess. And I'm still focused right now on everything about this book and making people aware of it. But if there is something down the road, Rabbi Sol, you'll be one of the first to know.
One of the first. One of
the first. Okay, the first.
Ah, damn it! Now you're talking. The first to know, and we are the first to say thank you one more time to Tim English. So good to see you. So glad that you're writing and doing all these things about music and New York and Jews. Tim English, have a wonderful, wonderful autumn, and shalom to you.
Shalom. Always a pleasure.
Tim English, my friends, here in the Daverhood on the Dave's Gone By program of the air with me, Rabbi Sol Solomon. There should be books written about me. I did co-write a play with the producer of the show, Dave Lefkowitz. It's called Shalom, Damn It, An Evening with Me. If you want to watch that stage show, it was actually recorded. You can go see it on my website, shalomdammit.com. Shalom, D-A-M-M-I-T, shalomdammit.com. This is also a website where you can watch me and my wonderful, brilliant, hilarious, disgusting TV show called Shalom Dammit, Rabbi Sol Solomon's Peace, Love, and Acid Reflux. I make myself mad. Peace, Love, and Acid Reflux Hour. All 10 episodes. There are links to the YouTube thing right on shalomdammit.com. And also, it is the place to hear and read and listen to and watch my rabbinical reflections, my mini sermons. I've done almost 200 of these things for Dave's Gone By over the years, and each and every one of them is saved there with links at shalomdammit.com. All this fun stuff, Jewish stuff about yours truly. So please check it out, shalomdammit.com. Also, check out my Twitter feed, which is at Rabbi Sol Solomon, at Rabbi Sol Solomon. I don't have an Instagram thing. I don't have a TikTok thing. If I did, it would be on my wrist. This is Rabbi Sol. Let's bring the program back to David Lefkowitz with more of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the stream. Oh, always so good to have Rabbi Sol in the Daverhood, especially with the Jewish holidays coming up in just a couple of weeks. Always great to have him. He was on our very first episode of this show all the way back nearly 22 years ago in October of 2002. And a reminder to you guys that if you want to hear any episode of Dave's Gone By, I mean, you know, the first several hundred shows were radio only. They're just audio files. You can hear them at davesgoneby.com. davesgoneby.com. Plus, once we started doing the video shows, and that's already going back a few years, to like 2018, I think, well, those are there too, for free, right there, saved for posterity, davesgoneby.com. We also have a channel with the same archives at archive.org. That's a nonprofit website that collects art and entertainment and literature from the past like million years. And we have a channel there, the Dave's Gone By channel. It's the same episodes and also the same interviews that we've done on this program over the years. It's just nice to have another outlet in case our website is down or people want to support archive.org. Either way, you can see and hear these episodes. If you're just interested in the audio, especially in the past 10, 15 years, these programs are 3, 4, sometimes 5 or 6 hours long, and you can't sit all day watching. I get it. And this is not necessarily the face that you want to look at for 3 hours. Fine. If you just care about the audio, you can also go to castbox.fm for the MP3 files, and it will download easily as a podcast. It's really meant for podcasts. So, whether you want the audio from castbox.fm or if you want the video too and everything at davesgoneby.com, or you can even go to the Facebook page. This Facebook page, keep scrolling or searching for the months. We go all the way back here to where we first started broadcasting live on Facebook. Wow, probably 6 or 7 years ago at this point. All the files are still on the Facebook page, which is kind of wonderful. Plus, we have a YouTube channel, which we've had issues with it because some content is blocked when we used to play music. And as my wife and I were talking about before, there's permission things involved. And they said, oh my God, you played this song on your show. And it's like, wait, you can go on YouTube and watch an entire video of that song. And yet, if I play half a minute of it, suddenly I'm blocked and they're muting me on Facebook and blocking the show. And Facebook and YouTube. I just don't get the parameters of all that. But the main thing is, we're here to stay, and we're in our 959th episode of the program, live on this Saturday, September 7th, 2024. We have a lot more to do on this episode of the show, because, my God, we have Greeley Times coming up, where these are phone calls that come into the police department in Greeley and northern Colorado, but the funny ones, the ridiculous ones, the ones that are seeing something very strange happening in the neighborhood, and people are calling the cops about it, for real. Greeley Times. Plus, we'll have our friends of the Daverhood, of which Tim English is now a double friend, a double visitor to the show. We'll have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, where we go to Atwood, Colorado. Atwood, Colorado. I'll tell you a little bit about the place and also read you a horrible poem about it. And we do have, for the first time in months, a brand new Wretched Pun of Destiny. This is a pun that is deliberately terrible. It's a little tiny short story that then leads up to a play on words that you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. We've been doing these for many, many years, but kind of on and off. We sometimes months will go by until we have a new one. Today we have a new one, and it will be called Scrapbook. All about a scrapbook, our Wretched Pun of Destiny. And we haven't even chosen yet, or I haven't looked at it. I've got to check my mail to see this week's Webster's
I just sent you the word of the day.
Word of the
I
day.
just
Thank
sent
you.
it to you on email.
Yeah, I'm gonna check.
I just literally sent it to you. I saw you went off. What a good interview, huh?
He was great. It was
I just
really, really
sent
good.
it to you, so it should go
Yeah, I'm
through.
gonna check it right now. Here it is.
It says WOD.
WOLD. Our
OOD, word of the day.
Word of the day.
Word OOTD.
With the Watted of the day. All right, I'm gonna open this up. All right, it's gonna give me a link to Webster's Word of the Day. Let's see what it's gonna be. Oh, good word. Good word. The Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day is vilify. Vilify. What it means is to vilify someone or something is to say or write very harsh and critical things about them, or it's a synonym of to defame. They were vilified in the press for their comments. So I gotta, not the second.
You vilify Mission Barbecue with their shrimp.
Oh, I know I do. I certainly do.
Oh, but wait a second, I hear something.
Wait, here we go. Oh, let's do.
We should get a fancier ring because you're paying for the subscription. You're a paid subscriber.
You know, that's right.
Isn't there a subscriber ring? I don't know. Here, let's see what a subscriber ring here. This would probably be the fancier one.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's a $12 ring right there for Greeley Times. So Greeley Times has to do, literally, as I just mentioned, with a column that is printed in the Greeley Tribune once a week. It's called Cop Log, and quite literally, it's all about. Hold on, when I open up that Merriam-Webster site, it uses a ton of oomph. So hopefully, here we go. It's the Greeley Tribune, real newspaper. Yeah.
It doesn't have video. It's just a word.
Yeah, but every website now, probably also because my computer's kind of old. If I ever want to open up the New York Post and read the comments, if I ever want to open up almost any page of any newspaper, there's so much fucking loading.
For your birthday, we'll get you
Maybe, yeah. Because it's just like, to load and do you want to exit the page? Do you want to wait?
Now you are a Mac Daddy with your subscription, so you're pretty hot
Yeah.
now. We gotta.
I need that page to load, baby. But are you guys experiencing, or maybe a lot of people have newer computers than mine, but all you want to do is read a story, all you want to read or scroll down a story, and you have to wait for all the banners and all the advertising and all the video to load. And even if you it's so fucking annoying. But it could also be that my Mac OS is a little bit, and I say old. It's like, you can put on a transistor radio you bought in 1967 and put a battery in it, it will work. You buy a computer that's maybe, 8 years old.
No, I got this for you in Colorado.
Yeah, all right.
And I got it for you. There was a sale, and then the young man helped me pick it out. So
I can literally tell you, this
it's an airbook. It was new at the time, but we can see if we can get you an educational discount for it.
This airbook was new at the time, and copyright 1983 to 2023, Apple Inc. That doesn't really.
No, you can tell if you look in I can tell you.
Well, this is a MacBook Air 13-inch, mid-2013. It's only 11 years old.
Well, that's ancient.
I know, but I bought a book in 1971. Guess what? I take it off the shelf. I look at it. It still works. The pages, they get a little bit yellow, but they still turn as easily as they turned before. If that book is 80 years old, then you got to be careful because it might crumple and you fold the page and it fair enough. But anyway, I'm griping. I'm vilifying modern computing now. All right, it's time for Greeley Times, ladies and gentlemen, based on a story or weekly column in this paper where people call the police department and say, oh my God, something's terrible is happening in my neighborhood. Send a cop. And what It's
the opposite of Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, kind of. Kind of. So we call it Greeley Times. So here we go. Here's all the criminality. Now, and we mentioned this again last week, that in the Tribune, the first time I even noticed that this column was worth reading was when the headline of the column was "Horse Poops on Fence." And I was like, oh, so this is not just going to be like a crime log. This is a log about logs, if you think about it. Yeah, and I was like, oh.
There's a lot of scatology in the reports too.
Yeah. Hey, what is eschatology? I have to look that one up. That's a word. ESCH, eschatology. Now it makes me want to know what that word is.
What does eschatology mean?
Here's the definition of eschatology: the part of theology concerned with death, judgment, and the final destiny of the soul and of humankind.
Oh, okay. I guess there's no escaping eschatology.
Final events of the world or humankind.
Which is all guesswork. Which is completely guess. Well, except for global warming. So, yeah.
What was the story? Did you ever tell the Greeley story? What happened?
All of these.
I don't know what did you ever even say one?
No, I'm pointing to end times. Ah, we have a call.
You got the chicken phone.
No, I have the megaphone. Hello, thank you. Hello? Where are you? 10th Street, okay. So what happened? Oh, a pedestrian got hit by a car. However, a passenger of the car then got out and started fighting with the person who got hit.
This would be good to use it.
Oh, well, I've got this. I've got the keyboard. I do have the womp-womp trombone and the bell.
Okay, so let's do the fighting part.
Or fighting would be, I don't know, let's have,
No.
oh, it's a cockfight.
What happened? So do we have any resolution?
Well, the passenger started fighting the person he just hit in the car. The person who got hit did not seem to sustain any serious injuries.
What?
I guess, or maybe it could be internal and they don't feel it until 2 days later or
You're
something.
hit by a car. I'm sure you got hurt.
Well, I don't know how fast or how hard or whatever. It could have been like a Trabant or a little Volvo.
But I still think if you get hit by a car, it's heavy. It's going to hurt you.
Probably a little
Body
bit.
versus car would win.
Yeah, 99% of the time, car. You know, as opposed to a deer. Is a deer so big that a deer's going to crush your fender or something? Or you're...
I think when you're going fast, they're strong. They're a muscle. So it's like hitting something muscular.
And not like a wall because it will be bad for the deer, but it could be a little bad for the car too.
It's bad for the car and the deer. No, there's no winner in that game.
Oh dear. All right, so okay, sitting at the police station, kind of quiet day, waiting for any. Oh! Just when I say it, the phone rings. Here we go. I'm gonna get the chicken phone. Where are you? 3rd Avenue. A caller there said people in a vehicle were inhaling from balloons that the caller believed to be filled with helium. And therefore, is there anything illegal in that?
I don't think. Can you get high from it?
Well, the people...
Were they talking like this then?
Well, they wanted to get high. Voices. Yes, indeed. Why, Amos and Andy both became surgeons. You know that? Because, wait, how do I do that? And they use balloons in their surgery.
How?
Well, when they're sick, we helium. No, I tried. All right, here we go. Oh, they must have hung up. Oh, always a call back. Let me call on the bra cup phone. Hello? Oh, sorry, I'll hang up. You're right here. This was a guy at the Greeley Police Department
Oh, whoa.
who said he found a dog and didn't know what to do with it.
Why did they bring him to the police?
I don't know. This is what people do. This is the first place they find a dog. They don't go to a vet. They go to the police department.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know what to do with it. Tragically, he spoke to a Korean police officer who told him, let's just say the man now has an empty doghouse and a full freezer. No, I'm kidding. Well, they do call them hot dogs. Oh, there's more. Here's another one. That's the bell phone. A caller on 25th Street said a vehicle had help written in the dirt on the back of it. Help, the word help.
I thought you just said help.
Oh, I'm sorry, no, help, H-E-L-P, written in the dirt on the back of it.
Yeah.
The caller said it looked like it was written by a child, which makes it better or worse. I don't know.
That they want it. Maybe there's a child who needs help.
Yeah.
But a kid couldn't write backward from inside. They wouldn't know how to do that.
Then they would have to write play.
Yeah, they wouldn't know how to do that. That's kind of odd.
Play. I deem somebody play. Not just as children with dyslexia. Anywho, do we have another caller? We do. We do. I'll do the chicken stereo phone. A caller, where are you? Well, where are you? All right, it's an unknown address. Said that a juvenile in her care kept setting toys and other items on fire. Now, there was no active fire at that moment, but the caller was worried they would set something else on fire soon. Yeah.
Maybe that's like a problem.
See, problems like this, you know, they're just matchless. Yeah. All right, well, we're not going to flame out with that one. We have another one. Okay, now where's this one from? Oh, it's a Bell telephone. It's a Bell telephone. A driver at an unknown address said that a group of kids can. Wait, I'm sorry. That was a driver at an unknown address said someone hit the caller's car a few days earlier and left a note with a phone number.
Ooh.
But the number was disconnected.
That's suspicious.
Yeah. Because it's good. You go there and look, everybody thinks they're writing their phone, and then boom.
You could be writing anyone's number.
That's true. All right, let's. We have another one. I think we have another caller. I can see the monitor was also lit. Okay, let's get this one. This is the cup phone, the bird phone that I have here, because it's a feeder for information, a bird feeder. A caller on 66th Avenue reported. I kid you not. This cup.
Birds?
Right.
Yeah.
I did not look at this, my list,
Bird bath.
before I did this.
Oh, okay. It's about
So this is my bird cup, right?
They're beautiful, beautiful birds.
They are. Here's the next item of the calls coming in. A caller on 66th Avenue reported a dead bird on his roof. I just held up a bird cup without knowing,
Yes. Well,
without remembering.
That's what happens when you're a paid subscriber. You get
You get
premonition,
synergy, yes.
You get so connected to the news now. It's like in your mind. Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, the dead bird is on his roof, and he was concerned that it died from a disease. The caller was, quote, made aware that animal control will not be getting on a roof to get a bird.
Oh, God.
And he was advised to call a private service instead.
Yeah, bird retrieval.
Yeah, it's called a shovel, dude. So get up on a ladder. Actually, I guess that is the easiest way. Put it on the shovel. Then you throw it down to the ground, and then you get it on the ground instead of schlep it down from a roof. You know, get one of those slide things. All right. Okay, I'll get back to the megaphone. Here we go. In this here, I can actually hear. A woman. Oh, she's again. No wonder I can't hear her. She's at the police department herself. And.
But she still called. That's weird.
So a woman.
Why would she still call?
She didn't call. A woman at the Greeley Police Department said another woman sold sexual services to her husband. Yeah. She didn't mind that, but she was Jewish and left the coupon home. So it was like... Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I've saved this... Oh, yeah, okay. All right. So, and actually, and that joke couldn't happen because, you know, Jewish wives don't know what sexual services are. So, I'm lit. I'm on it. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have, though, one of the greatest elsewheres of all time. So as part of the Greeley, Greeley Times on the show,
What's the town, David? I want to look at
and
it.
Copland, it's Georgetown County, South Carolina. The town. For the Colorado Limerick of the Damned is Atwood. Atwood, Atwood, Colorado. All right. So we have our great elsewhere for the day, Georgetown County, South Carolina. So we go away from northern Colorado, sometimes completely away from Colorado or even the United States, sometimes for funny, ridiculous, odd stories in the news. This time, we go to the Carolinas. The sheriff's officers were called to a home back on July 28th on reports of an assault in progress. Deputies were told that the fight started when siblings Anthony and Hope Harper were cooking chicken. Hope allegedly asked her brother, quote, "Why can't you season the chicken so it crusts up?" She then called him a dumb dog. So he pushed her into a table and punched her. Okay. I love this. That is when someone else in the home fired a 9mm handgun into the ceiling in the hopes of shocking them and stopping the brawl. But no, Hope, the sibling, the sister, then she got out a steak knife and started swinging it at her brother. That's when, and you're gonna love this. That's when their grandmother swatted Hope with a broom.
Oh yeah, Nonna.
Until she backed off.
Wow, what the heck's going on in there?
So understand. So they have a fight over chicken, right? The brother throws the sister onto a table, starts punching her. The sister grabs a knife.
Oh my goodness.
Someone else in the home shoots a handgun into the ceiling. Into the ceiling.
Is this all started by the bad
This
barbecue?
is about barbecuing chicken with proper spices on it. Meanwhile, the grandmother comes down, the nonna comes down with a broom and starts swatting at the girl with a knife. Now, while grandma is doing this, to get the knife out of the girl's hand, this gives Anthony time to grab a can of Raid of Raid bug spray.
What the heck?
And at that point, he gets to his sister and he starts spraying her nose and face with Raid.
What?
So Hope, what a perfect name, Hope manages to wrestle the can away from her brother. And she starts, I'm sorry.
What the heck is going on there?
Could you read this for me? Because I can't get through it.
No,
I literally can't. So he's spraying her in the face with Raid. She gets the can. She starts spraying him in the face. The upshot of all this magnificence is both the brother and sister are pressing charges against each other, and both were arrested and released on bond. But what a family! What a family feud, if you will. Just like, let this be a lesson to you. If you're gonna cook a chicken, stick to the recipe and make it crispy.
There's a lot of.
What a magnificent family that is.
It reminds me of that joke.
Wait, what joke?
That bad joke, the aristocrats.
Yes!
It has that same feeling.
This has a level of...
Everybody in the family is like doing something worse to the next person.
And then both the brother and sister started fist fucking Nonna, with the broomstick. And also, it's like, and then, what do you call that act? The aristocrats. And it comes with dinner. So, anyway, that was our elsewhere for Greeley Times today. Let's do one or two more criminal activities. before we get on to more of the show, we have our Wretched Pun of Destiny and our Colorado Limerick and our Dave's Big Dictionary. We have a call. Let me do my pen phone. Okay. Where are you? A caller at 104th Avenue. Didn't know there were that many avenues.
That's pretty high up.
I kept building it out. Said that a man was wandering around the area with a crowbar, and he was, quote, swinging it around and walking funny. Turns out he was a French pole vaulter. So, yeah.
Wow.
Fun times.
I was trying to look up that town.
Atwood, there's not a lot about it.
No, they have one restaurant called Spurs, but it closed.
Oh no!
Yeah, they're not at liberty to tell you what the new restaurant or the new place is.
Don't go there.
But it only has 144 people.
You mean the town? Yeah, well, yeah. But it's not a ghost town or anything.
The
like
restaurant was there and it closed.
Spurs.
They sold everything. It's like closing.
They had spurs that jingled, jangled, jingled. That's so sad. I know. Oh, he makes a nice, deep, rich noise when you do this. Check that out.
That's nice. I think he might probably vomit though.
Oh yeah, a little bit. All right, one more Greeley criminality for today. A caller at a grocery store on 10th Street said that a security guard there was acting very aggressively. The caller noticed that the guard had a gun and was worried he might start shooting at people just for shoplifting. And I say good, but yeah, more security guards actually did that. Maybe Walgreens wouldn't have to charge like $5.50 for a bag of candy. Anyway, all right, that wasn't funny enough. Let's do a happier one. Here we go. I've got the spud phone here. A caller at an unknown location said he was filing for divorce, and both vehicles were in his wife's name. She threatened to report the car he drives as stolen, so he wanted to let police know to get ahead of the situation.
Oh, but it's not stolen?
In other words, like
that's good.
Yeah. In other words, they're in her name, so if he takes the car, and she's vindictive.
There's a restaurant in
Atwood
called the Tipsy Cow, and Toots Bar and Grill.
Oh, the Tipsy. Wouldn't you like to go to the Tipsy Cow? Yeah. Do they have music? Well, yeah, it's mostly horns. And that's no bull. I'm really milking this joke, aren't I? But I'm utterly hilarious. All right, enough. That was Greeley Times for this Saturday morning, September 7th, 2024.
Mr. Horace Greeley was no fool. I'm sure that you'll agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
What he is getting at is that Mr. Greeley was no fool.
Yippee-yi!
Yippee-yi, 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 yi-yi, yippee, yippee, yippee.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it's 10 after 11 Eastern Time here in the Daverhood on this Saturday morning. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. That is my wonderful and darling and adorable wife helping us out with the sound effects and the extra information and the pictures. You know, she's always in the background. She doesn't want to get on camera, but she loves to sort of help with the show, help me out, feed me the information and cool visuals that I can share with you. So I apologize in advance now for making her sit through some of the things that we have to sit through on this show. Among them, the return of the Wretched Pun of Destiny. Now, ladies and gentlemen, over the years, and many, many years now, I started doing these in Colorado, started writing little tiny it's like microfiction, little short stories, but they're capped by a pun, a play on words, some frivolity with language, if you will, that are on some level stomach-turning. They're usually not dirty at all. This one is not at all.
Oh, good.
In fact, it's sickeningly cute almost. But it is still sickening because it's a bad pun.
Do you have your
Well, I do. Actually, I have the womp-womp trombone ready.
and you have the dirty clean?
Oh, and yes, of course. This is quite honestly a clean, wretched pun of destiny, and yet you will feel dirty after hearing it. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me try this out on you. It's our brand new, and it's been several weeks since we've had one of these. The Wretched Pun of Destiny. The day has gone by, wretched pun of destiny. A big event. Oh, that was an actual wretched pun of destiny from before. That's just not the intro. Shame on me. Oops. I should have played just the intro. I apologize for the mistake there. Here is the wretched pun. I love autumn weather so much that I've been putting together a scrapbook to document all the changing colors of the season. This morning, I was sitting on the porch when I saw this gorgeous red and gold leaf, and then another one just like it. I grabbed them and was just about to paste them in my scrapbook when a wind came and whooshed them out of my hand. But then, like a boomerang, the wind whipped around and brought them right back onto my scrapbook page. Oh, I was so relieved. We here at Dave's Gone By apologize for bringing you the Wretched Pun of Destiny. Yeah, we apologize most, but we've had worse. We've had worse, not much worse, but we've had worse puns than that. I do extend my sympathies to all of you and to your families for bringing you the wretched pun of destiny. It'll probably be a long while, lucky you, till we have the next one. But every once in a while, it's nice to bring that segment back. Anyway, a segment that we've been doing not as long as that one, but for a few years now, is called Dave's Big Dick Dictionary, and it's all about a random word, finding a random word that's in the dictionary, and me being a broadcaster and a raconteur, and I've never seen a nice raconteur, you know how big they can be, that I have to make up something. I have to talk extemporaneously off the top of my head, free thinking, free speaking of whatever that word brings to mind. It can be really directly related or close, just whatever pops into the brain, and I can fill 5 or 6 or whatever minutes about that word. So the word of the day, which Merriam-Webster is kind enough to pick out for us without our even having to find one.
Well, social media does, and I think they're trying to be relevant, you know, like in a world of social media, they have to find something. So, and they used to just do it as an image. Now they're doing it with a link to an actual word, like an
they give all this explanation. So we're going to read that. Word of the day. So I'm going to go back to that webpage. Today's word of the day is vilify. Vilify. V-I-L-I-F-Y.
Which you did to the shrimp at
Mission Barbecue, yes. To vilify someone or something is to say or write harsh and critical things about them, really harsh, critical things. It's like defaming somebody. They were vilified in the press for their comments. The eagerness to vilify the other side complicates the less reactionary work that defines our mission, said Jerry Brewer in the Washington Post. They have all these like brand new examples. That was from like June of 2024.
Well, that's the website can be more true.
Now, did you know that it's possible that vilify and villain do come from the same source, after all?
Makes sense, Bill.
Yeah, if you vilify someone, you're making them out to be a villain.
But your village doesn't mean bad.
But guess what?
What?
It's not true. They're not connected at all, apparently. The origin stories do involve Latin, but the roots are different. V-I-L-I vilify came to English from the Latin adjective vilis, meaning cheap or vile,
Ooh, vile.
both of which I've been called. Someone who has been vilified, accordingly, has had a reputation that's tarnished or cheapened,
Oh, I like that. Yeah, that's a good explanation.
so they're viewed as morally
Do you
reprehensible.
want me to look it up in your book? Or no, you don't read the actual
Oh,
dictionary.
I'll probably grab that after this. But villain,
Okay.
on the other hand, is from a medieval Latin word villanus, two L's, villanus, meaning villager, and ultimately from the Latin noun villa, meaning
Yeah, but-
house.
Yeah, but so why is a villain bad then? Wouldn't a villain be good, like your villager?
So the Middle English descendant of villanus turned into the meaning of a person of uncouth mind and manners.
Oh, I guess being like a peasant. Right?
To
Being-
the aristocracy thought of you.
Yeah. Like, oh, you're a villager, yeah.
So then villain came to be a scoundrel deliberately and connected with vilify, but that came kind of later. Before it was just house and like just a peasant in the house who's uncouth and therefore you're vilifying him. It's all a little tangled,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's a little bit.
Tangled up in words. Anyway,
I'm just checking. I ordered Mom's groceries, so I'm checking to see if they're updating.
so here we go. Here, and by the way, I'll keep this. Just so you know, the previous words of this week that I could have been saddled with had this program aired earlier during the week were replete, gridiron, ensconce, cronyism. Some of these are good. Incandescent, and skirl. What the hell is now? I'm sorry. Skirl. Skirl. Oh, what a wonderful word.
What does it mean?
This was the word of the day for September 1st. They should have had this on St. Patrick's
What
Day.
does it mean, squirrel?
Skirl. Skirl. To play the bagpipes.
Skirling?
When the piper skirls. Wow.
Why don't you play some piano for that?
Oh, I gotta turn this thing on. Yeah, hold on.
Do some skirling on your piano.
No, I want to play me here. How do I get it to... Stop it. There we go.
Okay.
The bagpipes.
Okay, I'll play with you here. Okay.
It's been so long since I played keyboards, I can't even. Wait, it's not doing the two tones. There we go. Okay.
Why don't I give you something here? This might be here.
Oh wow, shaking maracas, baby, and hand me that instrument. Okay.
That might be.
Do you want to try this? Because I can't.
Okay, I'll do this. Okay, I'll play this one.
Something Irish, something bagpipey,
Okay.
so we can skirl. Oh, you know who loves this song?
What's happening?
Yeah, the thing has a mind of its own. Yeah, this isn't really skirling.
Oh no.
No. It's just,
Where's our last the little chopstick?
the closest actually would be the flute. The flute there, that would be the closest to bagpiping. Yeah, yeah. Oh, well, why don't you take a toot?
You do the flute. You've got a pan flute. It's got your goods on it here. Okay.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
I'm going to be playing the sking flute, ladies and gentlemen. Here he is. This is closer. Just think of a policeman's funeral. Think of me. So they wear skirts while skirling. Think about that. The bagpipers, they wear skirts while they're skirling.
Yes.
Wow. Maybe
And
during a skit.
And if they also play some sports, they could do curling while wearing their skirts while skirling.
They could skirl and curl. Oh my God.
Spell the word?
S-K-I-R-L. But that's not our word of the day. Our word of the day is vilify.
Oh,
But the word of the day for September
that's a
1st
good word.
was skirl. Isn't that a wonderful word? What a
It
wonderful
says the
word.
pipes skirled and moaned down the street.
There you go. Skirled and moaned. Wow.
Oh, it says it's slang for the act of shrieking.
Oh, it makes sense.
I like it.
Have you ever listened to a bagpipe? You listen to, what's that, Cypress Hill, or is it House of Pain?
Oh, House of Pain.
House of
Oh,
Pain.
here,
You
I'll-
jump.
I can play it.
No.
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun,
That
dun,
horrible,
dun,
horrible
dun,
noise,
dun,
man.
dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun.
I hate that. I mean, it's catchy in its weird way, but it's the most annoying thing ever. Because it's like the screams that you used to hear in disco, that high pitched like thing. I was like, stop it. But anyway, enough about. I'm you know what? I'm vilifying disco, and I'm vilifying the annoying noises in rap. I'm vilifying them. Why? Because to vilify means to say horrible things about, to abase, to debase, and to say, oh, I hate that. So, vilify. So let me talk about vilify for a bit, since this is Dave's big dictionary. I am prone, I think you would agree with me on this, my love, that I am prone to vilifying things.
Yes, you do.
Immediately. One little
You
thing
go
goes
from-
wrong.
Yeah, I learned it from you. You go from love to hate in a second.
Absolutely.
Like, this is the most beautiful thing. Now it must die. It's you.
I wish I could put you on camera for that. It was so beautiful. But it's true, man. You know, the second I even...
You loved your keyboard, then you were just vilified it instead of want to play notes. It did.
It did.
You just, you know.
I flip. I flip immediately. If I ever feel threatened or rejected or whatever, I'm immediately going to be like, this is the worst thing ever, and just say the worst, most offensive thing. Because do you fantasize about this? Do you ever have like these waking daydreams about these things where someone does something bad to you, cuts you off, treats you badly, and you spend the time kind of thinking of the worst, most disgusting, hateful, sick things that you could say? I know Rabbi Sol Solomon does that all the time and works those into his rabbinical reflections, particularly about the Middle East. He'll figure out, okay, I'm so full of rage, I'm so full of hatred right now. Let me not just say what I feel. Let me not just make a political point. Let me talk about the enemy in such a way that I'm going to vilify the enemy just because they're villains. I'm going to say just the most awful, debasing things about, because it makes you feel better. It really does. To spend that time working out the rage, working out the anxiety of saying, oh boy, if I really got to tell someone that, and to see the look on their face before they punch me, it's so worth it, man. Or at least you think it's going to be so incredibly worth it.
Maybe it's just time to rage.
Well, it probably is. I mean, we generally don't necessarily vilify with a cool head. You don't get like a William F. Buckley or you're writing in a vilifying way.
Ask my phone.
Yeah.
What is the psychological story behind when we vilify?
I know there are people who take a vilify, which is a medicine. That's rather different. No, but
Why do we vilify people? Fear.
Okay.
Power.
Sure.
Fear, so rooted in fear. Hate, based on power. Dehumanization.
Yes.
Past trauma. Self-defense. Inner pain. Need for uniqueness.
That's every adjective that describes me. Do them over. Read them over again, please.
We vilify for fear.
Sure, I live in fear.
Hate can be rooted in fear.
Okay.
You might dislike someone because you're afraid of them.
Fair enough.
Or you might feel they're making fun of you.
Absolutely.
Hate can be based on issues of power because you believe people have power over you.
For sure, all my life.
Dehumanization, propaganda that dehumanizes other people can lead to vilification. Past trauma, someone may have experienced trauma through their parents.
Or
they
anything.
vilify others.
Yeah.
Self-defense.
Sure.
People may hate others because they've been taught that's a good defense. Inner pain, it's a distraction from inner pain,
Mm-hmm.
or to regain power, or people need for uniqueness. People may dislike people who are similar because it threatens their unique sense of themselves.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. So, yeah, all good reasons to vilify. All reasonable justifications, my friends. Yes, an analyst would try to cure those things.
Well, it says hate is rooted in fear, mistrust, powerlessness, or vulnerability.
Well, sure. Absolutely. Well, yeah, well, why wouldn't it be? We hate the people that we are afraid of because we're afraid of them. Durr. You know,
That's how it is.
it certainly is. And that is why we vilify and we take pains to make the juiciest, most vituperative vilifications that we possibly can. Because the more deeply we can go into it, the more, if you're something of a rage addict like I am, the more you feel good. I really nailed them with that. You know, I could say, oh, that's an asshole. But if I think of something really deeply funny, of there's someone who fucks his sister with the head of an axe. Okay, now we're getting better. Now we're the worst, right? Then true sheer vilification. I love it. And by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened with that Harper family before. So vilification. I'm not going to vilify the word vilify because it's too important to me. It's part of what a comedian needs, whether dealing with a heckler or just trying to say, okay, these are things I like, these are things I love, these are things that need to be destroyed because I hate them. You know, it's like anchovy paste. It's not enough to be like, yeah, no, anchovy paste is not for me. It's like, this is the worst food in the history. God should have been like, okay, what woman's cunt did you pull this out of that it smells and tastes like this? Vilification. You have to, a creative person kind of needs to go there, unless you're Mr. Rogers. Unless you're Mr. Rogers.
Use the microphone to play.
Yeah. He somehow, in his art,
You've made this day a special day by just your being you. Thank you. Two of the best words we can ever learn.
I will bet some days, even to himself.
Do you think he ever said the F word?
Yeah, I'm sure even just to himself, he probably at one point said, oh my God, that Mr. McFeely, what a dickhead. No, I don't actually. It's like, I'd like to take Mr. McFeely and sodomize him in the eye with a drinking straw. He probably didn't.
What's the secret life of Fred Rogers? It says he just at a gym. What did he struggle with? Bouts of asthma.
Oh.
He was bullied as a kid, called Fat Freddy.
There you go.
Said he had a difficult childhood. He was introverted and overweight. He was frequently homebound after suffering asthma. He was bullied and called Fat Freddy.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he had a lonely childhood.
He could have been a rapper with that name. Instead of Big Pun and Fat Joe or whatever.
Said his testimony helped save the VCR and pave the way for Netflix.
All right. Probably involving being able to save people having the right to buy stuff, programming.
He often favored tofu and vegetables.
Well, he figured, yeah. Because if there's anybody who would favor bland food like tofu, it would be Mr. Rogers,
He was colorblind.
Was he really?
Tomato and pea soup, he couldn't tell them apart.
Now there's a fun trick to play. And asthmatic to boot. So he probably had an inhaler. He was probably a fat kid with an inhaler. And he took tons of shit.
He proposed to his wife by letter, and she responded and agreed to it by payphone.
Oh, all right. Well, it was back in the day. It's not like they could email.
It said Roger struggled with pessimism and anger, and most of us
Wait,
did.
what? Really?
Mm-hmm. A strained relationship with one of his sons.
No kidding.
Yeah, he's not so perfect.
It's not such a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
That's exactly what they said. At least one of his sons.
One of my sons? eats shit for breakfast.
Where are Fred Rogers' children?
I'd like to hang them from the garage. Just for being
Fred,
them.
You know what Fred's name was? Fred McFeely Rogers.
Yes, Mr. McFeely came from his
that's
middle
right.
name. Yeah. And we did have Mr. McFeely on this program. He is a friend of the Daverhood. David Newell, the actor, who I believe is still alive and well, was on this show about 10, 15 years ago. So you can go to the Dave's Gone By archives and hear our interview with Mr. McFeely. Huh? Huh?
That's really cool.
That really is cool. So, any other Mr. Rogers tidbits? Or
It's too much to read.
Oh. You are my friend, you are special. You are my friend, but I'm feeling suicidal today.
I want to see.
Well, you said he struggled with pessimism. Which, considering that he was on the air in the 60s and 70s and into the 1980s, there was a lot to be pessimistic about, for sure. And well into the aughts. So, yeah. If he would not be normal if he didn't struggle with anger issues and pessimism issues. I wonder if there's any episode. Even here, even on this machine, listen to the anger creeping into his voice when he does this one here.
Do you have some favorite neighbors where you live? Real neighbors with whom you can talk and play and ask for help if you need it?
Not
I
this one.
hope so.
Here. We'll get to it.
Doesn't it feel good when you're just about to do something that you know is wrong? And you decide
That's the one. There's a certain level of anger that actually creeps, scary anger that creeps. When you're just about to do something that you know is wrong, and then you don't.
You're vilifying Mr. Rogers.
Well, why not? He's dead. So, and he apparently had some vilification even in him. We should rent that. I've never seen the Tom Hanks movie where he plays Fred. I did want to see that. But anyway, you're not in the neighborhood. You are in the Daverhood, where we've been talking about the word vilify on a segment that we've called Dave's Big Dictionary. Extra, tell all about it. It's Dave's Big Dictionary. So, we still have a bit more to do on this program. We do, and I apologize for that. See, I made you listen to our Wretched Pun of Destiny, but that is not connected to our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. Oh no. Those are two separate awful segments. And we always save our Colorado Limerick of the Damned pretty much, usually we save it for last. But before we get to that, let us talk about and thank our...
It says Rogers is the sixth cousin of Tom Hanks who plays him in the film.
No!
I don't know if that's true.
6 degrees of Mr. Rogers? Whoa! That's cool. I mean, it's probably 8 degrees from like X the Owl.
Yeah, I don't know.
That would be neat. Anyway, our friends of the Daverhood. These are people who have been on this program months ago, years ago, or today, like Tim English, who wrote the book, The Kennedys, New York, that you can get on Amazon and read there. And he's also said he recorded the audiobook that'll be coming out soon. So read The Kennedys, New York, or any one of Tim English's other books. Tim English, spelled the way you would spell English in English. So yeah, thank him. He was in the Daverhood years ago. Now he's come back. He is a double friend of the Daverhood. Rabbi Sol Solomon, he's in the hundreds there. He's been on our show since the very first episode, all the way back 21 and a half years ago. Still coming back for more punishment and giving us more punishment. But Rabbi Sol, his website, shalomdammit.com. Shalom, D-A-M-M-I-T, shalomdammit.com for more and more and more about Rabbi Sol. They are friends of the Daverhood. Now, there's other people who have done this program, whether it's recently or a long time ago. They're friends, they're family. We like to let you know what they're up to. So here we go. Here's, for example, hey, want to give a shout out to the songwriter and painter, Oh, sorry, I'm about to sneeze. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Ah. Oh, and now I have snot in the nose that has to come out also. Hold on. Ah.
I'm reading about Mr. Rogers' kids.
That's snot bad. So, congratulations to our friend Art Paul Schlosser. His art, his paintings, he does these little paintings, and they are on view at the Fair Trade Coffee Place in Madison, Wisconsin. He's a Madison denizen, and you'll see him street singer, and in also indoors sometimes, playing his songs in Madison, Wisconsin. But he's also a painter. He's really been concentrating on that a lot. And you can find a lot of his pieces, his paintings, on view at Fair Trade Coffee. This is running now through Halloween. So yay to Art Paul Schlosser. I want to remind you that our guest last week, Brandon Maggart, is going to be kind of a special guest appearing on stage at the concert of his own daughter, lovely Maud Maggart. But this is going to be on the West Coast. This is going to be over at the Gardenia in Santa Monica, California, and it's happening.
We were there. Oh, I was there. You weren't. We were there with the brand.
Oh yeah, I was there with you at Santa Monica. But it's today and tomorrow. I'm assuming Brandon Maggart will be appearing at both shows. He'll be doing a couple of songs. The show is mostly her in concert. Maud Maggart and her dad, Brandon Maggart, at the Gardenia in Santa Monica this weekend. Tomorrow, Sunday, September 8th, Jeremy Schonfeld is going to be playing his songs at the Town Crier in Beacon, New York, which I guess is part of maybe a little above or near Westchester. And then ending this weekend, playing now through September 8th, after a couple of extensions, it's Cats, the Jellicle Ball. This is this re-envisioning of the Broadway musical Cats, done as kind of a drag fantasy ball, and featuring our beloved friend of the Daverhood, Tony winner Andre DeShields. That is happening at the Perlman Center on Fulton Street in New York. On Tuesday, this Tuesday, Eric Comstock and Barbara Fasano are at Birdland with their nightclubby kind of cabaret show. On Thursday, September 12th, you can see Baggy Davis Ain't for Sissies, the solo show by Jessica Scher. She's doing it at the Triad Theater in Manhattan up on West 72nd Street. And then on Friday the 13th, Robin Hitchcock's new album drops. It's called 1967. So if you know Hitchcock's music for the past 40-something years, he's quite brilliant and was absolutely one of my favorite guests in the Daverhood. He just has a mind that goes to other places and a way he expresses himself that's really like no one else. So get his album, 1967. It's dropping this Friday. Also, this Friday, there will be a benefit reading of the farcical play The Tale of the Allergist's Wife by Charles Busch. It played on Broadway about 10, 15 years ago. This is a reading of his play. He's in it, and it will be done as a benefit for the Sharon Playhouse in Sharon, Connecticut. If you happen, Sharon, they're doing a play. Oh, anyway. Seth Beeson Hirsch, want to give him a big congratulations. I mean, he's usually doing emceeing this open mic night that they have at, where is it? It's not I think it's at Don't Tell Mama. But from the 13th through the 29th of September, he's got a musical going. He's written the score for a show called Diamond as Big as the Ritz, and they're doing it at the ATA, the Sargent Theater, over on West 54th Street. And now, a show that was supposed to come to Broadway, but isn't, but is coming back to off-Broadway. It's the latest iteration of Forbidden Broadway, Merrily We Stole a Song. Okay? Merrily We Stole a Song. Anywho, it's Gerard Alessandrini, our friend of the Daverhood, and this is playing now through the middle of September at Theater 555 in New York. Now through September 21st, so you have about 3 weeks to catch Little Shop of Horrors at the Ogunquit Playhouse in Maine. The music, of course, is by Alan Menken. And if you're in New York, you can see the off-Broadway revival that's been running for years now of Little Shop of Horrors. That is playing at at the West Side Theater on 43rd Street. Katie Huffman is directing the new musical Empire that is at New World Stages for another couple of weeks. And now through mid-October, don't forget there's a new podcast that you can listen to called Flash Force, Middle-Aged Women Superheroes Save Democracy. You can listen to it. They drop a new podcast every Wednesday. There are 6 total episodes. And check out some of the cast members, all of them friends of the Daverhood. We're talking about Karen Ziemba, Jason Gra, and Lucy Arnaz. All of them part of the podcast, all of them part of this history of Dave's Gone By. Aladdin is on Broadway and features Alan Menken's music. K.T. Sullivan plays at the Algonquin on Tuesday evenings. Vince Giordano and the Nighthawks are at Birdland for 2 shows on Monday evenings. And then, of course, Jim Caruso's Cast Party every Monday night at Birdland. Get your tickets at birdlandjazz.com. Shout out to Evan Seplow, the founder and editor of StageBuddy.com. Shout out, of course, to the beloved Dr. Demento, still creating brand new episodes of the Dr. Demento Show that you can listen online only at his website, drdemento.com. And then, of course, a shout out to our wonderful friends, critic David Sheward. He writes for TheatreLife.com, CulturalDaily.com, and our own TotalTheater.com, so read him there first. And then we've got Leslie Hoban Blake and Charlie Gross. Oh, I'll be taping a segment with them this weekend that they're going to run in a week or two about Broadway and off-Broadway shows that critics are looking forward to in the 2024-2025 season. So be looking for that on their show. It's called Two on the Aisle, and it has aired bi-weekly for 25, almost 30 years now on Manhattan Neighborhood Network, and then also the episodes are on YouTube. So a shout out to Leslie and Charlie, and to our beloved Vicky Quaddy out there in Chicago doing Are You Smarter Than Your 8th Grade Nun and Late Night Catechism. And those, my friends, are the friends of the Daverhood. So nice. I didn't want to stop. A little bit of Mozart there. Highbrow culturality here on the Dave's Gone By show, because we're getting cultural now. We are classical music, the theater, and most of all, poetry. Because every week on Dave's Gone By, we bring you a piece of verse that goes from beggar to verse, because it's our Colorado Limerick. Thank you for getting ready with the drum there. I love that. Our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, because my wife and I lived in northern Colorado for about 13 years. And for no particular reason, except I did love Colorado, I decided to take a place, a big town, a big city, a small town, a ghost town, all these different places in Colorado, and write poems about as many as I could. Now, these being short limericks, they're supposed to be dirty and risque and awful, and so I make them as such. I don't really honor these places in any real way. In some ways, I vilify them with these poems, but they're made with love. They are our Colorado Limericks of Damned, and this week we go to Atwood, Colorado. A-T-W-O-O-D, Atwood, Colorado. We'll tell you a little bit about it, and then we'll do our, whoops, I can change this up, our Limerick of the Damned.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 would end with words that rhyme, and likewise verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick. Rocky Mountain,
Yes, indeed, our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. Now, my wonderful wife has been looking up information to tell you.
There's nothing.
I know. Well, it's a small community out in Logan County.
They closed the Spurs. The hotel is still closed.
Oh, the Spur. Yeah, but you said there was another couple of restaurants there.
No, they were further away, and then there were some that I think they're adjacent.
You know, there's
It's kinda
Spencer,
small.
Colorado.
144 people live there.
Yeah, there's people. It doesn't mean it could be a suburban community with not a lot
It's
right
near
in it.
Sterling, so I know
Yeah,
Sterling. I mean, we know the.
Well, it's actually, we lived in Greeley, so it's not that far a drive from Greeley. It's in far northeastern Colorado, almost up at I guess the Dakota. What the hell was above us? No, Wyoming, Wyoming border.
No, you're thinking North and South Dakota, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, I'm surprised though that you didn't come across their best known thing at this place.
What was it?
They're best known for the Bosseggio pumpkin patch and corn maze. Remember we used to pass the corn maze in Colorado that we used to in Johnstown or wherever it was, or on the way to Fort. Was it
Eccles or something? Eccles?
Yeah,
Eccles?
something with an E.
I'll ask for the corn maze in Greeley. Okay. What's the corn maze in Colorado and Eaton? Anderson.
No, it wasn't Anderson. It was something else.
Fritzler.
Yes, Fritzler's corn. We never went to it, but it was kind of cool. So even perhaps greater than the Fritzler corn maze in northern Colorado is, my goodness, the Bosseggio pumpkin patch and corn maze over in Atwood.
Oh, they had Scream Acres too. That's scary.
That's where we were.
Here's the giant corn maze.
This is which? This was Greeley
Fritzler's.
or
Fritzler's.
Look at this is a maze made of corn. Wow.
It's a cornfield. They just drive through and make a maze. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Will I ever go to a corn maze ever in my life? Oh, I'm not going to say maybe. I'm going to say probably. Yeah.
I'm gonna get
Yeah, there was a kernel of truth in that one.
It can take an hour to get through a corn maze.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't. But at least now they have drones, so they can easily.
Find you.
Yeah, right. Seriously, it's probably pretty easy to get lost, because it's so high you don't see.
They count the number of people in and count the number of people who leave.
Yeah, they must. But also, again, because I guess they have drones now, you can just and see there they go, which you never could before. You had to send people
put
in.
Cameras in there, like you could track people. It's kind of advanced though for corn maze.
But anyway, anything else about Atwood is just that a lot of wildlife, hunting, fishing, and apparently it's a great place. And this dovetails back with this. It is apparently a really good place for birding. Bird watching. Isn't that a great verb though? Birding. I wonder if a bird has been spotted, if it's been birded. You know? Like if you go birding, you're looking.
Why don't you just coin that? Coco, what? Miriam
Yes. Yeah. Or if your car has shit on it.
Is the word birded a word? A bird.
I wonder, can bird be a verb? Well, birding, if you're birding, that means you're going to bird. Bird is a verb. But if a bird can have been birded.
Simple past tense and present participle of bird, birded.
Well, all right, yeah.
What does it mean to be birded? Bird, birded, birding, birds. Intransitive verb.
All right.
To observe or identify birds or wild birds in their habitat.
Right. So you can, birding, you can.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if it's reversed of like.
And then somebody has to twerk a Scrabble word. You think twerked is a Scrabble word?
It probably should be. It's probably entered the language.
Yeah, you're in luck.
Ooh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And by the way, have you heard about the bird? Sorry. I'm having a Peter Griffin moment, my friends. Anyway, I've been delaying. I've been postponing. I've been taking as much time as I can before having to do this, ladies and gentlemen. The actual limerick, the actual poem that is our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. Are you ready? Atwood, Colorado is where we're going, my friends. Our Limerick of the Damned. Ahem. A limber young lady from Atwood could leap from a height like a cat could. To demonstrate proof, she jumped from a roof and died because the bitch wasn't that good. Please send your comments or opinions your hate mail to davesgoneby@aol.com. davesgoneby@aol.com. That is my email address. That is the place I will most likely and most easily read whatever you want to send me. Now, you can also send me stuff right here on the Facebook page. You want to message me or post under the shows, you can do that. No, I don't even have my phone. Didn't you?
I was going to look up Facebook on your Facebook. I can see if anyone wrote you.
Oh, that'd be cool. This would be a good time for that, actually. Thank you. It should be in my office on my desk. But yeah, davesgoneby@aol.com is the official email address of the show, because the official website of the show is davesgoneby.com. We also have a Twitter feed, Radio Dave 2, and Dave Lefkowitz, or Dave.Lefkowitz, one of the two, is our Instagram page. So we have a lot of ways to connect with the program and connect with me. By the way, I keep pushing davesgoneby.com, the archives over at archive.org also. Don't forget, davelefkowitz.org is the place that you can read the Wretched Puns of Destiny, all the Colorado Limericks of the Damned, my articles, my interviews. You can read.
Oh, it's so sad.
Yeah.
6 years ago, the memories of you preempting your show for Potato Day.
I don't think we talked about this. Oh, let me finish, and then we got to talk about it. I totally, oh my God, I blanked on this. Holy crap, thank you for reminding me. So just reminding you, davelefkowitz.org is not the show's website. That is just the website for my writing. If you want to read my plays, my funny long plays, my short one-act plays, check them out. I think you're going to enjoy them. So, davelefkowitz.org, all different ways to connect with me, and also then, of course, davesgoneby.com to connect with the program. Well, my wife reminded me something that just staggered me. Because
I took a picture. This is a picture.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
This is from Facebook. It's sad. It generated 6 years ago.
Because it came into my head over the Labor Day weekend. And I was like, oh my God, what about the Chabad Lubavitch telethon that we used to watch every year because it was insane. And I missed it. I was hours late remembering that it was on. And they had it. You could watch it like the next day. But it's nowhere near what the hell it was. And that's just, it's not even worth looking at very much. But, okay, there's that. And then I was also reminded, hey, now's the time, because we've had, where we live, the state fair, just about a mile or two from where we are, the state fair in Maryland, which is kind of funny. When we lived in Greeley, we lived so close to the Stampede, and it was every year, and we went once.
Yeah.
We've had the state fair. We've been living here 2 years. The state fair, we haven't gone to the state fair at all. I think today's or tomorrow is the last day, and it's over. And it's literally, it's a mile from the house. So people come from hundreds of miles away. We could walk to it, and we're like, what are we going to do? We're going to get on a ride and throw up? We have cotton candy. I don't like cotton candy. What are we going to do? I kind of want to go, but just out of curiosity. So the state fair, that's here. And it reminded me, of course, of Potato Day in Greeley, Colorado, where I myself was a very, very unofficial kind of mascot because I was so into it. I would.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, I'll find it.
I certainly was.
I think they sent it to me on the WhatsApp. I have to find what Madeline sent.
So Potato Day, every year, for more than 100 years, in Greeley, Colorado, was this thing. It would take this big old field. What was it called? I never remember that place. Centennial Village. And make it look like it did 150, 200 years ago. Kind of remembering what early life, post-pioneer, but early Western life was like.
Okay, so this is what she
Colorado,
said.
Yeah.
I don't think it has the number. It's from Madeline. And she wrote, it says, David, this is my WhatsApp. There's no number, right? There's no phone number.
So this was they were actually using my image.
Read what it says.
That was snapped by a photographer.
That was this last year, I think.
Was it, or maybe 2 or 3 years ago at this point already?
Wrote me, I mean.
Yeah. It says September 9th, but it doesn't say what year.
Okay.
Or she sent this August of the 23.
Yeah, so last year. So
there were my wife and I were living in Maryland at this point. They're still using my picture.
What does it say?
As Potato Day. Activities include living history demonstrations, entertainment, and a reenactment performance by the Buffalo Soldiers. Those are the black kind of post-Civil War soldiers, yeah. Joining the cakewalk to take a sweet treat home. Admission includes a free baked potato with all the fixins.
And that was 2023 they were using you.
Yeah, using my image taken
You can make
like
that
5 years earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we moved, we've only been in Maryland a couple of years, but we were in New York for 3 years before that.
Yeah.
So this picture's like 5 or 6 or 7 years old already. And they used it last year.
Yes.
Well, they're not using it this year. They're not using anything this year because I have the terrible...
Oh, it was the NoCo style. It was Northern Colorado style.
Because who has more style than an idiot in a...
Greeley, Colorado Potato Day images.
Than this idiot in a potato costume running around.
Greeley, Colorado Potato Day images.
Yeah.
What comes up first when I do that?
Me.
Yeah.
Me. I am the face of Potato Day. And I've written plays. I've been off Broadway. I've won awards. I've been teaching for 15 years. All these things. I've done this podcast. When I die, what's going to be, if there's anything in the papers, he was the guy wandering around on Potato Day.
This is from the Greeley Trib.
Oh, and went to, this is what happens if you're not logged in. This is what the fucking Trib does now.
But basically, it's the same thing. Let me take a picture. I'll visit. I'll take a picture.
Yeah.
So it's you. Basically, it's you. Greeley, Colorado, Potato Day images.
What?
2 years ago.
That was may have been
Inside
that picture.
Greeley, no. 2 years ago, I don't think so.
No, not 2 years ago. All right, it's okay. We've shown the picture. We've shown that image. There was a time.
Let's just see what. Okay. Date of Potato Day in Greeley, 2024. It says the National Potato. No, it's National Potato. Oh, here you go.
And you're forgetting. Don't forget that about 10 years ago, you and I were on the front cover of the Greeley Tribune. You were a professor trying to get like tenure and full at this university, and there you are in like a sun hat, affixing potatoes around my neck. But and this is a color picture on the cover of the newspaper in town, and it was shot from above, so I looked like a superhero.
Below, shot from below.
I'm sorry, shot from above. So it gave us like this.
We'll read the sad
all
news.
right, so here's the deal. All right, here's the deal. So I was like, it always makes me sad.
You were the influencer.
On Greeley, we lived all those years in Greeley. I went to Potato Day pretty much every year. 1 year was Yom Kippur. I couldn't. Another year they canceled for weather. So check this out. This year's Potato Day, which I would ordinarily be screaming about, is next week, the 14th. This is from the City of Greeley Museums. Greeley's Potato Day 2024 canceled. Wait. Oh.
Do the tribute, the trumpet.
Hold on, I got it. Sorry about this. Greeley's Potato Day event, scheduled for September 14th at Centennial Village Museum, has been canceled. The event, which is produced and managed by the Friends of the Greeley Museums, is an annual fundraiser benefiting the City of Greeley Museums. We realize, quote, this is a time-honored tradition in Greeley, says Nathaniel Johnson, president of the Friends of the Greeley Museums. This was not a decision we took lightly, and we hope to move forward with it this year. But we regret that we did not have the number of volunteers needed to continue with the event for 2024. The organization's fundraising supports historical events, learning experiences. Let's face it, it's not as if Greeley has the Met, MoMA, the Guggenheim, 1,000 art galleries. It's got the Greeley Museum.
The theater left, yeah.
Yeah, it's got Rattlesnake Kate Room.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the whole fucking thing that Greeley has to offer in terms of real culture, I'm afraid. So I kind of understand, and more and more, I would tell people, I would exhort my students. I would say, this weekend,
Didn't we
Potato Day.
We met your chair, right? One of your chairs at
yeah.
Potato Day.
Because you're still like a youngish.
No, it was the German, the man of the Germanoid.
Oh, him? He was there?
Yeah, he was there.
What was he doing there?
He was at the beer garden.
Oh, yeah, I get that. So Chris Bowles, City of Greeley Museum's manager, says, we respect and understand their decision and are grateful for the continued support. So,
there's something deeper going on. There must be some
because
scandal.
It's just not, if you've been to one Potato Day, I say this with unbelievable love. What are you saying? What are you saying? Oh, look at that. He's hiding his eyes
It says
with
here,
tears.
Saturday, September 20. They list Potato Day events.
For this year? Because this year was supposed to be the 14th, next Saturday, next week.
Yeah, they list it.
Really?
So this is
What website is this?
Friends of the Museum. That looks like it's on, right? What does it say?
When Saturday? They haven't wiped this off there. It's
No.
probably. I used to see web pages
Yeah,
that
but
were.
then people show up, right?
I know, right? This says Saturday, September 14th, from 10 until 4 in the afternoon. Centennial Village.
Mm-hmm.
Phone number. Event contact. Registration not required. They really need to take this off the. Yeah. Let's see if on their homepage they kind of mention.
Oh, they might say it.
No. It's not there.
Do
at
you
least
think
on the
that's
phone.
a joke? Maybe it's really not canceled. Here, let me see.
I don't think. I'll bet there's a story in the Trib about it. I can access on this computer because I now am a member for $12.
They don't have a.
Let's actually check out the Greeley. I didn't think of this. So the Greeley Tribune story about the death of, at least this year, Potato Day, and there have been years when they've had to cancel over. So let's hit.
But the president is Nathaniel Johnson, so.
Is or is not?
Is.
No, but somebody should tell the Greeley. Maybe they'll have a volunteer to keep updating the website.
They have a webmaster.
Well, the only volunteer they have is like one high school kid.
I can't work today. I'm getting my acne treatment.
Come on, let's see. Can I please get the search bar? Okay, Potato Day, because this is important. We were talking about the assassination of President Kennedy, the assassination of Bobby Kennedy.
They were going to play in there, tell the people.
Look how frowny he is. Yeah.
Tell him his band name.
Oh, was this Sputteroo or was it Rattlesnake Tate? Oh, there are three of these guys that we have, and they call themselves.
He's the first one, I think.
He is Sputteroo. He's one of the saddle sores. Okay, trying to find Potato Day is bringing up every goddamn story with the word potato in it, probably.
Just do Potato Day in quotes.
I should have done that. But
I don't have access on this thing.
See,
but it's very confusing because it seems.
Yeah.
See, they have it, and then they have Potato Day events, and then they have Potato Day canceled. So. This
is one of the reasons we moved.
It's canceled.
Yeah.
But then here it says September. Oh, that's last year. On the Instagram of Greeley, they have Potato Day for the 14th.
Really?
And when they have, oh my God! Look on their Instagram.
No.
It's still you. It's still you.
Aren't you proud?
And they say
you're married to him.
But they say it's still going on. I helped you.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, I don't think the thing is a hoax. I mean, they've canceled Potato Day, but they really, when you cancel something, there is a process involved in reminding people.
And you got 45 likes, David.
That's more like saying my goddamn show gets every week.
Look at that. It says you got 45 likes. See, but this is a problem.
Even if I put quotes around it.
Yeah, it won't let me log in to see, but it basically says.
Yeah.
Oh, here.
What?
Oh, here, look what it says. It's like this. I gotta take a picture. It's like the COVID one.
Oh, yeah.
Here, read what it says.
All right, hold on.
Okay, can you give me your glasses? So they updated it, yeah.
Greeley's Potato.
It's you! For this 2024, it's you!
Unbelievable.
That's 2024, that's next Saturday.
I know. This picture is
here.
like 7 or 8 years old.
Yes, this is, why are you the face of Potato Day?
Because I should be.
You're like this. David, I don't.
I'm the face of canceled Potato
I have
Day.
A feeling. And also during COVID. Remember with COVID, they had Potato Day will be held, and they had it. And then what did they do? Then they put, we're sorry to inform, and it's still you. Rodolfo sent us the thing of you on.
So that would have been 2020.
Yeah. So we have you with the 2020 cancellation. Look at this one. They must think you're the mascot.
But what's interesting is I don't think the Trib has done a story about this.
What are they gonna say? It's can't read what
Yeah,
it says
well,
on
yeah. I
Instagram.
mean, they usually report on it. Okay. So on the Instagram for City of Greeley.
Show them what City of Greeley was. I took a picture so you could post it on your Facebook.
Greeley's Potato Day event scheduled for September 14th at Centennial Village Museum has been canceled for 2024. The event, which is produced and managed by the Friends of the Greeley Museum, is an annual fundraiser benefiting the City of Greeley Museums. For more information on this cancellation, go to the link down below.
The problem is I can't see who liked it or anything
Oh,
like that.
my God.
On Instagram. Yeah.
I just love that.
But
That's
David,
absolutely, yeah.
I guess because you look so happy, and this was the photographer took this. This wasn't mine. This was the photographer, the city photographer. But you look insanely happy. You got a potato pin on your hat. You're wearing the. I mean, like, do they not question why they think you're the mascot?
Yeah. And I was just a guy who loves potatoes.
Oh.
Literally. I mean, there was one year I did volunteer.
Oh, this is their Facebook. It's the same thing.
Wait, I'm going to go on Facebook here and see.
This is Greeley Museums on Facebook.
I'm going to see this. Please tell me this is not true.
There's
it's got to be.
but I can't see them.
Let's see. Greeley Museums.
Also, 2 people forward it by putting other people's names.
Let's see if it'll come up.
Been filtered out.
Well, that's not the first thing. That's interesting. Today they're doing Fiesta in the Plaza at Centennial Village Museum.
David. David, they have you on Facebook. Did you look at?
I'm looking at. Is it Greeley Museums?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird because the phone is different from the. I'm looking there. I can't. Yeah.
Greeley Museum.
I am on Facebook. It's not showing that.
They posted it July 18th. You gotta go back.
Oh, I gotta roll. So, everything is August 21st. They posted. Wait a minute. Oh, there I am. August 8th.
I can't see it.
Hung. It's a posting by City of Greeley government.
Is it the same picture? David.
Yeah.
Oh, dear child.
I swear. If you guys want to go on Facebook and look for City of Greeley government, I mean, well, you'll end up you'll kill the speed for the moment. But after the show's over in a couple of minutes, there I am. So it's not Greeley Museums, I guess, for me. It's City of Greeley government Facebook page. Please tell it can't be.
No.
Let's take a look. Oh, yeah, they've done. Yeah, they've posted a lot of stuff since then, but they have to go back to like a few weeks back. But apparently, yeah, no, I can't scroll. There's just way too much.
So I have that picture. So if you ever want to post it on Facebook,
yeah,
I actually now have a picture of your.
But it's so sad. It's like posting a funeral, you know.
But it's like
yeah, I can't.
You have on your Facebook.
Yeah.
Can I have your phone? I'll look.
Yeah, sure.
On your Facebook, we posted the image that Rodolfo sent when he was like, David's so happy. The next one, it's the same image. And he's like, due to COVID, we're not having events. And you're there smiling.
I will always be the face
Oh my God.
on Potato Day.
I think they think you're the mascot. I really believe like they probably think you're that.
The official. I should have been. Well, no, if they can't even get volunteers, they don't have money to pay me. But
they don't have money to pay you, which is sad. That is true.
You know, that's what I should do. I should quit teaching and go back to Colorado and say, look, I will bring back Potato Day if you make me a full-time job as the official. I'll become the Gritty of Potato Day.
You also have to then do all of the you can't.
The pressers, sure.
You can't get enough volunteer though.
Oh.
Volunteers, they don't have volunteers.
Well, that'd be you.
Yeah, that's not enough. That's not enough.
Me?
That's not.
Well, I'd be too busy shaking hands and being
You
cool.
would be like too busy, taking photos. And
Yeah. No, we would need more than that. We would probably need.
Oh my God, David, jeez. I can't believe there's still David. What?
Yeah.
We left in when?
We left in 2019.
Yeah.
And that is still the image that is fixed in the city and Greeley government's name. Huh? Which is kind of cool. If we ever go back there and I'm driving and a cop pulls me over for speeding or for parking ticket, I said, by the way, this is me. And he'd be like, I feel so sorry for you. Well, I'll let it go this time. But you're that dude? Yeah, it's okay. We'll just give you a warning. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is kind of fun. This is so perfect. Because we're going to end the show in a minute or two or three. And one of the running jokes of the program, since we've lived in Maryland, is that the weather is generally really sunny, humid, quite lovely a lot of the week, especially certain times of the year. But every time we do the show on a Saturday, the weather turns gray, gloomy, and or rainy. That was I would tell people it's really nice here, and it's sunny, and it's this and that. But then every time we get on the air, Saturday somehow the bad weather would kick in. Well, I'm glancing at the window right now, and it's raining.
It said 3 o'clock.
For the first time in days, at least there's a couple of.
It said 3 o'clock is going to be the rain.
Yeah. Well, there's some drops. It's probably just a drizzle now, and I love it. We need it. Our lawn died 2 months ago from just nonstop heat with no rain for about 2 weeks. So then it all came back and everything became green and lush because it cooled off a little bit, and we do have rain. So what? Bless the rain. Love it. Love it. But it's just this wonderful little thing of like, hey, yeah, it's Saturday. It's the day you don't have to work. You don't have to teach. You can go outside and we're going to make it rain. So I'm happy to make it rain here on this program every Saturday from 9 until noon or thereabouts. And you've been watching the 959th episode of The Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the Stream with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my wonderful wife. I want to thank one more time Tim English, author of the book The Kennedys, New York. Do get yourself a copy, please. I want to thank Rabbi Sol for being with us, and of course, I want to thank all of you so much for joining us in the Daverhood and telling your friends and your family, or even if you warn them about us. Even if I listened to this show and they had a horrible limerick, and then there was a terrible pun, and then these people were talking about the Kennedys from 50. I mean, what the hell is this? Even if you say that worst show I've ever listened to or seen in my life, at least you're getting the word out. All publicity is good publicity. So tell everyone about Dave's Gone By and about the archives at davesgoneby.com, as well as this Facebook page. Happy to have you. Happy to be here in the Daverhood with you. Happy that the ribs are, the ribeye steaks are back at Mission Barbecue.
Maybe you should try to dress like ribs or steak and get affiliated with Mission Barbecue. That might be the best way to go.
I could literally, yes, I could be like not a boneless rib, a rib like with a bone.
We have to figure out like some kind of mascot, and then you could, it would be good.
I would love that.
You'll be advertising a lot of stuffy.
My luck when they would say, "We love you. We think you're great. Great. Can I get a free meal?" No, you still pay $14.95. That's just my. But I will say this. So speaking of last thing before I go to vilify, I'm going to vilify a local Vietnamese place.
Why?
That's it, because it smells so good.
What happened?
And if I'm not going to
Did you go with me? Did I go?
Yes, yeah, it's like a week or two ago. We get food from there, and I gave them another chance. I really, really did.
What was wrong?
Because they have Korean short ribs, or it's like, or Vietnamese really, short ribs at this place, and they're delicious. But if I tell you for $20, you get like 4 little rib things. Like, it's not like even the Chinese spare ribs that you get in a Chinese place. It's like, it's 80% bone, like this flat bone with a little meat on the side of it. So you gnaw the meat off, and you get 3 or 4 of these, and then all the rest is like bean sprouts and carrot shit that you don't really want. It's part of the whole thing. And I'm like, come on! You don't charge $20 for this. Tasty as it is. It's not even Wagyu beef. It's just little rib things with a drop of meat on the side of it. No. Your sandwiches are nice. They are somewhat decently priced. A banh mi sandwich that you can get there, where they put a little bit of meat on there, but it's $10. And it's filling enough for a lunch. Fine. Okay. It's overpriced, but everything's overpriced now. But come on. I'm a Jew of the old school. You go into a deli for a pastrami sandwich, you don't put 2 slices of pastrami out there. You give somebody a sandwich, you eat half of it and take it. I'm vilifying. What?
You're going to have a stroke.
Well, yeah, I will, thinking about Beatrice Arthur later, but that's different. Ladies and don't even know what that means. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching the Dave's Gone By show on Saturday, September 7th, 2024. Hey, and don't forget, it's actually going to be, holy shit, the 23rd anniversary of September 11th this week. I remember where I was. Remember where you were? And how did the college students make those people the heroes? How does that happen? You tell me. Anyway, don't forget to remember, because there's a whole generation now that wasn't even born and doesn't even care. But we do. And we care about you and love you in the Daverhood. We will see you next Saturday. We'll probably have a guest. I'm not sure which. I'm not sure who. We're working on it. But I'll be here with all the usual unusuals and gone by.
Days gone by,